Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead, take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because we already know what time it is. You know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well, but what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. Share the content. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks. Today we are going to get started. We're going to deal with a concept that, people going to have to, it's a part of life, y'all. We're going to deal with a part of life. We're going to deal with the last part, but it's a part of life, y'all. We're going to deal with when women die alone versus when men die alone. Okay, y'all, we're going to deal with it, y'all. And, well, I guess I'll wait for a moment to tell y'all why we're going to deal with such a thing, because it is an important thing, okay? When men die alone versus when women die alone, okay? Now, before we go too far into this, let me first of all give a shout out to people who come through and they give a little extra effort. And I appreciate these people a big deal, because these people make it a lot easier for me to do what I do. There's people who drop a little something on the wood at the Roger Report Live, and y'all, all money on the wood is good. So I got to give a big old shout out, okay, to my main man, Metaphorical Tactics, y'all. Metaphorical Tactics put a little something on the wood, y'all. And I told y'all, big or small, I do appreciate it all. So shout out to Metaphorical Tactics, who dropped a little money on the wood, and down, he's a sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to Metaphorical Tactics. Thank you very much for what you do, my brother. Thank you very much for what you do. Appreciate you. And let me give some shout outs to, just a few people who done checked in this morning, because it's always great to see people check in when you're about to start off a show. Always great to see a few people check in when you start off a show. But if you've been around the Roger Report Live, which you should have, but we ain't mad at you if you do, okay? We ain't mad at you if you do. Y'all know there can only be one. And that one today, y'all, first one in the building, okay? The first one in the building. My main man, Floyd Thompson, he is what we like to call around here the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to Floyd Thompson. Good to have you in the building, my brother. Good to have you in the building. First one in the chat, okay? And if you ain't been a Highlander of a stream, man, what you waiting on? What you waiting on? This is something y'all should have multiples of. Now, let's get on to the rest. Shout out to Sarah B. Sarah B is here. Hey, Sarah. How you doing? Okay. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. We got Inspired Truth Broadcast in the building. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Tunnel Runner is in the house. Great to see you. Great to see you. We got Devon Townsend in the building. Good to have you here, my brother. Good to have you here. Inspired Truth Broadcast is, well, I just said him, but he's in the building. He is in the building. We got my main man, Tunnel Runner, in the house. Great to see you. Great to see you. Dolomite is here. What's happening, my brother? What's happening? We got Eric M. Greets with Fire is in the house. Great to see you all. Great to see you all. Now, y'all, let's get right into it. And thank you for everybody who's filing in as well as we get going here. And let me say shout out to all my people listening from around the world. And of course, shout out to the replay gang. Y'all are always included. It's not like I make this show and don't include whatever I'm saying to the replay gang too. So shout out to the replay gang. My main man, shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building, y'all. We appreciate Chef a great deal. He goes through a lot of trouble to make sure we doing stuff in a good and orderly fashion. Because even if I let it get out a little bit out of pocket, Chef Mike Roundtable would step in. So shout out to Chef. The only guy who hits the paddle, we got to be scared. Only guy who hits the paddle, we got to look around and see what's happening. But I'm glad to see all y'all here. Now, of course, I put a link in the description, y'all. Okay, this was I put a link that kind of, inspired this particular broadcast somewhat, because see, this is an argument that's been made for years at this point, because I've had multiple channels. I know I talked about women dying alone. Shout out to the great Kevin Samuels, who just kind of made that like a tagline about women dying alone. And it has become an issue for them. It has become an issue for them, when they want to talk about it or deal with it, whatever the case is. And we just saw, now if you watch the clip, you saw, another woman struggling with dying alone. Okay, that's what that is. Another woman struggling with dying alone. Okay. Now, while she's struggling with it, I'm going to assume she may have a good understanding that that's in her future. I don't know. Okay. Maybe she is a married woman, but she's fighting for the ones that ain't married. That could be happening. I hope that's not the case. Okay. But yeah, every once in a while you do see a married woman fighting for the foolishness that single women are fighting for. So it is possible, but hopefully that's not the case. But she's probably an unmarried woman, which is still not saying the best thing. Who maybe she don't want to feel a certain way about it, or maybe she is a married woman, but because she's had to deal with so many single women who felt some type of way about dying alone, maybe she felt she had to step up to the plate. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I have no clue who the woman is. Okay, I just know, folks get a little upset sometimes about certain things. Okay. Folks get a little upset sometimes about certain things, but y'all, ain't none of us gonna get past death. Okay, ain't none of us getting past that. Everybody got to die at least once. Okay, Now, I hope not to die twice. Okay, I got faith. But we all got to die once. Ain't none of us getting past that. That's just the way it goes. Okay, you come into this world, you going out. We all got to die once. It is what it is. Okay. Now, why is dying alone such a big deal? Okay, why is dying alone such a big? And y'all see, people pretend like things ain't a big deal when you can clearly see they're a big deal. All right, but we got this thing going on in the Black community where I'm just gonna say it. One of the reasons I'm doing the broadcast, there's a lot of pettiness that goes on. I try to stay away from some stuff because, well, I stay away from disputes because people be just petty. You know, it's a sad look at the end of the day. We shouldn't be representing ourselves in a petty way, and everything is not a tit for tat. Men and women are very different. Now I get it. I get it. We still humans, so that we have some similarities, but we still very different. Okay. Every argument is not no, well, it's gonna happen to you too. It's gonna happen to you. Now, this was somebody bringing up this petty argument, and they try to make men feel bad about dying alone. Okay. Now, I'm gonna bring some reality to this because I can say whatever I want and just keep it real. Okay. Some folks can't do that because they are pandering for money. Some people are pandering for clicks. Some people, you know, this is an ends to a means. Okay, that's what social media is for them. It's just an ends to a means. Okay, or means to an ends, I should say. Okay, but with myself, because I don't mind just doing what's good. I can come out here and tell the truth, and I ain't got to worry about it like that. Okay, I can come out here and just tell the truth. All right, and I can feel good about it and go about the rest of my day. It's cool. It's cool for me to do it. It's great. Okay, so let's talk about this dying alone thing. Okay, a concept that, to my understanding, I even brought to the space. Okay, let's talk about this dying alone thing. Is dying alone something, okay, that we should make fun of people about? I don't think so. Okay, I do not make fun of women for the situation they're gonna have to deal with, y'all. But a lot of them are gonna have to die alone. Let's just keep that real. A lot of them gonna have to die alone. Is that something I'm gonna make fun of? No, no. Now, there's funny jokes you can make about anything, but I ain't gonna make fun of them because they're gonna die alone. Because when you look at the numbers, y'all, a large amount of Black women are going to die alone. It just is what it is. How you not gonna do that if you're not married? Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's gonna come. It is what it is. It already happens now. It already happens now. And the numbers are just going to increase. You're going to have more women who are dying, whether they have a big funeral service or not. You're going to have less and less people involved at their funeral, especially with women who accept being enemies to their actual friends. Women can be very rude, petty, and, they don't treat each other very well. Okay, they smile in each other's face and then they stab each other in the back on a regular basis, and they think that stuff be cool. So yeah, you're gonna have some women dying alone, and if they never got married, you know, things gonna be a little different. Okay, first of all, the reason y'all see some funerals and they seem small, because I get it. We go around, we see a funeral and it seems small, right? Well, that's because half the family missing. See, people go to funerals, but when you ain't never heard of a person, you don't go to their funeral. That's not a normal thing to go to the funeral of a person you ain't never heard of. So if the woman never got married, her husband's side doesn't go to the funeral. That's a good chunk of people wiped out right there. The husband side ain't going to the funeral because she never have a husband. How can the husband side go to the funeral and she never had a husband? Now, I'm not saying it's not gonna be women who outlive the husband, but the husband family would come to the funeral even if the husband died first. Maggie would pass away, but before Maggie passed away, she was with Billy. Okay, she was with Billy. So now Maggie done been a part of Billy's life for such a long period of time. She's seen as part of the family on Billy's side because she was married to Billy. Maggie and Billy got married. They was married for they was married for the last 58 years. Okay. Maggie was at all Billy's family reunions. Okay. Okay. Every time Billy go to a wedding on his side of the family, Maggie there. Okay. Billy got nephews and nieces. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Who was Maggie to them? Oh, that's Auntie Maggie. It is what it is. Okay. It is what it is. Shout out to Inspired True Broadcast. He said, no, not Maggie. That's fam. Hey, man. Names gonna hit home sometimes. But Maggie done had a great life, okay? That's the good news about Maggie. Maggie done had a great life. Maggie met Billy years ago. You know, they had a good life together. Had their kids, had their grandkids, probably had a couple great grandkids before they had to go. Okay? But Billy done passed, 3 years ago, and now Maggie done passed. But see, when Maggie passes, Billy family gonna come see her. Okay, they're gonna get they're gonna pay their final respects. They're gonna send her off right. Cause she fam to them. Okay, she fam to them. To all the kids, that's just Auntie Maggie. Okay, they're not growing up in the world like, well, I was related to Uncle Billy. I wasn't related to Maggie. That's just through Maggie. They ain't saying nothing like that. That's just Auntie Maggie to them. Okay, so Billy may be the daddy, but that's still Auntie Maggie. Okay. Yeah, I went to my uncle's funeral, but I ain't going to Maggie's funeral because she's not really related. Ain't nobody saying that. Okay. Ain't nobody saying that. Okay. Nobody saying that. They like Maggie. So what goes on in Maggie's life? Because she done got married, she done had a good life. Well, there's people from Billy's side that's willing to help Maggie. She may need a little help in her old age before she go. Maggie has her side that's willing to help her. Maggie got some children willing to help her. Okay, it's like that. But if you got a Maggie that never got married, situation really different. Okay, situation is really different, and it's gonna be a bunch of old Maggies out there that's gonna die who ain't never got married. Y'all, it's gonna be a bunch of. So if you ain't seen one of those yet, they coming. Don't you worry about it. we gonna get to a point you ain't gonna be able to get away from it. Okay, it's gonna be a bunch of Maggies out there who ain't never got married. They ain't got no kids to help them. Or some of them, they gonna have some kids because y'all know how the single mother thing go. Okay, yeah, and it just ain't gonna be the same. But Maggie don't get to have that great life where people are gonna be there for her. Cause let's keep it real, y'all. The children of single mothers, man. Some of them go. I ain't gonna say all of them gonna diss their mama. I'm not saying that. All of them ain't gonna diss their mama. But there are gonna be some single mothers passing away. And they're gonna have some children that got some issues with them. And it may not be the turnout you think is gonna happen. Okay. It may not be the turnout you think is gonna happen. Okay. Why? Because they was beefing with moms. It might have took them a while to really center into what the issue is with mom. But some of them gonna be for mom, and some of them ain't gonna even show up to the funeral. I'm not saying this because I'm trying to make fun of women. I'm just being realistic about what the situation is. You're gonna have some kids who won't even show up. Okay. You're gonna have some folks that ain't gonna want to put no money on it. So, you may not really get a nice funeral. Some stuff gonna be difficult to afford. Some people just gonna say, hey man, just let's cremate her because it's cheaper. Yeah. Normally we would have a funeral, but let's just cremate her because it's cheaper. Okay. Yeah, we just throw the ashes in some body of water. If you're in the Chicago area, maybe you just throw it in Lake Michigan, okay? Not that they ever had a love for the sea, anything like that. It's just cheap for us to throw it in Lake Michigan, okay? Oh, what you doing? We about to throw Mama's ashes into Lake Michigan. Oh, really? I didn't know I didn't know she liked selling or anything like that. I didn't even know she could swim. Well, she couldn't. Well, why y'all throwing in Lake Michigan? Because it's the cheapest option we got. That's all. We don't, you know what I'm saying? This our last bill. You know what I'm saying? She was shady to us. We ain't giving her no headstone. No, man, they started talking to us about how much it was going to cost to get her buried at this such and such cemetery. No. Well, you just going to throw in Lake Michigan? It ain't like she got no husband to be buried next to. Okay? It ain't like she got no husband to be buried next to. These are just real things that's going to happen, y'all. But let's play this out. Let's get into this, y'all. When women die alone, it's going to be a lot different than when men die alone. Now, I'm messing around a little here about the final part where you actually did and got to get buried or however they're going to do you. However they're going to do you. But see, before that part gets here, there's things that people really need to take and understand. And I do like actually giving me and some of the answers. So when certain things pop up in y'all lives, y'all be able to just tell it what it is real good, okay? Why is there never a concern about men dying alone? Okay. Now, the women have, for petty reasons, say, well, y'all gonna die alone too. They've been doing this for a while now. Why are men not concerned with dying alone? Because this is the reality of a single man. Let's say a man is single, he never marries. Okay, what type of life is he gonna live because he never marries? Let's say he never marries, never have children. Because there's a lot of black men out here unmarried and childless. Now I know they try to say, black men ain't this and ain't that. But truth be told, more than half of us are single and childless. Okay? More than half of black men have come to a conclusion they are unwilling to give a black woman a child. Now I know people don't like to touch that because it's a sensitive issue, but that's what's really going on. More than half of black men will not give a black woman a baby. So the number's gonna go up. Okay. Numbers gonna go up. Okay. Now, this is the thing, y'all. This is the thing. All right. Maggie gonna live her life. She gonna suffer a little bit because women are gonna naturally suffer about being alone because they were designed to be with the man. It just is what it is. It's part of who they are. They were designed to be with a man. All right. I do understand women suffering a little bit because they don't have a man. I know it's not the most pleasant thing in the world to not have a man. Okay. I don't make fun of women because they don't have a man. I know this is a situation for them. I get it. Okay. Now, when it comes to a man, though, we sacrifice personal dreams, personal goals, so we can have a family. See, this is the difference with men and women. This is a major difference with men and women. When women have a family, you get married, you be a good wife, you have some beautiful children, you actually stay in your marriage, you live a life with your husband, he blesses you as best he can. That's not a sacrifice. That's taking you to where you should go. That's helping you be the best woman you can be. That's helping a woman fulfill her mission. Okay? That's helping a woman fulfill her mission. Nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. Okay? It's a beautiful thing. Now, people trying to play this tit for tat game, which I think is very stupid and very immature. I don't like this type of stuff. Okay? But see, this is the thing. if men, matter of fact, before I even say that, let me say shout out to Afro Merchant. He says men sacrifice their life for their family. Women sacrifice their family for their happiness. Unfortunately, there are women who are dumb enough to do that. Okay, they are dumb enough to do that, and that actually goes a little bit to my point. Men, we actually sacrifice our own freedoms so we can have a family. We sacrifice some happiness. There's cases when there are men who are gonna sacrifice some happiness so they can have a family. You know what women ain't figured out yet. For the most, well, I'm not, and I'm just. It's not like they really ain't figured it out. Never say a woman don't understand, y'all. That's letting them off the hook. But this is the part they don't want to understand. This is what they don't want to understand. The men were fine without you. Men do not sit around being quote unquote lonely because he never got married. Okay. Men, we do make sacrifices all the time. And we accept it as a decent trade-off. There's plenty of men, if you ask them about things, because they got married, they didn't get a certain thing that they want. They didn't get, well, it's not just a certain thing. It's plenty of certain things that they didn't get because they got married. But they cool with that. They understand there will be some level of sacrifice. It's not the end of the world. Okay. uh Shout out to Sarah B. I just wonder what you're saying. She says, oof, this is insanely timely for me today. Y'all doing God's work, Roger. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know exactly what you mean by it being so timely, but I hope it's a blessing to you. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope it's a blessing to you. Okay? Because as men, we give up a lot of stuff because of what we're gonna have when it comes to a family. Well, I got married, so I never did buy that sports car. Men say stuff like that all the time. I got married, so I never started that business. All right. I got married, so I never did get that jersey. Okay. I got married, so I never did make that trip. See, men sacrifice a lot of stuff when they get married too. Okay. Well, I can't even say two because I don't even know what women actually sacrifice when they get married. Okay. When I think about a woman get married, a woman gets a man to cover her. Okay, y'all. We talk. There's a thing called a covering. See, when you as a woman get married, you get a husband. He's gonna cover you. Okay, his friends are gonna cover you. You're gonna have a whole network of new people that's gonna look out for you and make sure that they have your best interest at heart. Whole new group of people that's gonna do that because you married some man and you get his whole network. It just is what it is. Now, as a man, there's a lot of stuff men give up because we got married. It's real sacrifice. Women talk about sacrifice like, well, if I get married, I got to cook and clean. You had to do that anyway. If you was alone your whole life, don't you still got to cook and clean? You going to stop eating because you got married? Come on now. I mean, well, excuse me. You going to start eating because you got married? Wasn't you already cooking and cleaning? I don't get it. Okay. Shout out to Trail Billy. Now I'm sure he's joking right here, but you never know, y'all. You never know. He say, I got married, so I never became an astronaut. And there goes Sarah B saying, Trail, stop. Hey, Sarah. you don't know Trail like we know Trail. You don't know Trail like we know Trail. Maybe he was on his way to being an astronaut, okay? But he couldn't stand leaving his babies alone on Earth while he was out in space, okay? It tore at his heart, okay? He had trained the first 24 years of his life. The first 24 years of his life, he was trained to be an astronaut. He messed around and got married, had to quit the program. He had bills to pay. He couldn't afford the program anymore. He had bills to pay. Shout out to Trail Billy for giving up his dream of being an astronaut for the sake of the marriage. Now that's funny to me, y'all. That's funny to me. Now, the sacrifice may not go quite that way, but yeah, men do make sacrifices because they get married. That's part of what marriage is. But see, men accept that that's part of what marriage is. We give up a lot, and women don't give us credit for all the stuff that we give up because we got married. Okay? See, we live in a different world. Men and women are not the same. We got whole different worlds going on. See, for every man who gets married, right, you become this faithful husband. He dealing with something that you don't really have to deal with like that. This man sees thousands upon thousands upon thousands of women that if he were not married, he would love to have sex with. But he let it go. He lets it go. Why? Because he's married. See, that's called sacrifice. Okay? That's called sacrifice. Now, this is the thing. Women would try to go a tit for tat thing. Well, when we get married, we sacrifice all these thousands upon thousands of men that we want to be. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Let's keep it real. What you sacrifice is maybe some attention from those men, and a lot of y'all don't do that because you still be up in their faces. So you didn't sacrifice the attention that you should have sacrificed. You didn't sacrifice the attention that you should have sacrificed. I'm going to say it again. You didn't sacrifice the attention that you should have sacrificed because you were married. You ain't supposed to be up in other guys' faces like that. A lot of y'all still wearing clothes that would indicate to a man walking past that you are single and available. So you're not really sacrificed the way you should. See, men are actually sacrificing not having sex with these other women. You're not sacrificing that because the way y'all like to play it is you wasn't going to have sex with them in the first place. And the thing is, the men wasn't necessarily going to have sex with you. But what do the men sacrifice? Well, they are sacrificing sexual escapades with a bunch of random women. And you could say, well, you don't know if the man could get those women. Y'all, if the man got $5, he got action. See, there's different things going on, y'all. There's different variables. See, women love to say, well, you couldn't get those women. $40 to get them in there. Now, you can talk that talk. Okay? You can talk that talk all you want, but $40 to get you in there. Okay? And I get it. I get it. A lot of women who aren't just full-on whores, they're just not full-on prostitutes by job description. You know, they're going to be insulted at $40. Like that ain't a good price. $100 make a lot of y'all go. Let's keep it real. $100 make a lot of y'all go. A lot of sisters just ain't going to do right with their money. And they put themselves in bad situations. So guess what? You know, they quote unquote can't stand such and such. Okay, they was with Brian, right? I ain't gonna never mess with Brian again. Screw Brian. I'm tired of Brian. Okay, now she ain't managing her money right. Now the phone bill get paid. What's she gonna do? She gonna call Brian. Hey, Brian. Look, I know I chewed you out last week. Okay, and I told you I was never speaking to you again. Okay, I told you I wasn't gonna never speak to you again. But this the deal. I need $100 because my phone about to go off. Okay, my phone is going off in 2 days if I don't get this $100. Okay, so Brian on some. Well, I don't hear what none of this got anything to do with me because you said you told me off. We acknowledging the fact that you told me off. You told me go and jump in the lake somewhere. Okay, so I got a lake to find. Okay, I can't be worried about your $100 that you need so you can keep your phone on. I got a lake to find. Before you call me, you remember I got a lake to find. How can I help you with a phone if I'm in the lake? Okay, you ain't supposed to bring the phone to the water. Okay, I'm over here in the lake. All right. Look, Brian. Look, I'm sorry. Just give me the money. Well, I tell you what I can do. Yeah, I tell you what I can do. You know, because I do get paid tomorrow. I do get paid tomorrow. So guess what? I'll come on over there right now. We can do what we need to do. And before we get done doing what we need to do, my paycheck gonna mess around and hit my bank account. Okay? My paycheck will mess around and hit that bank account before we even get finished doing what we need to do. Okay? So yeah, women acting like they ain't going, but they're going. Okay? They going. Okay? We are in a society where men can literally walk up to women that they don't know, offer a little something, and they going. So yeah, men are sacrificing women that they can actually have. Okay? They are sacrificing women that they can actually have. Because a lot of women, and let's keep it real, they single. They're not tough to crack. Okay? They ain't that tough to crack. It is what it is, y'all. And you don't even really need money. Money could just make it go a little bit faster. A lot of these women out here are single and they ain't that tough to crack. Not really tough at all. Okay? Just is what it is. Okay? You know? Shout out to Trill Billy, because he was I gotta read whatever this says just because of the fact he was about to be an astronaut. Just for the fact that he was about to be an astronaut. I got to see what he talking about. Trill Billy says, real talk. My wife needed a prescription filled like 3 a.m. our first year. I went to pick it up and a woman was flirting with me. I showed her my wedding bands and she didn't care. That was a sacrifice. Boom, boom, ba bam, pow, pow. There you go, right there. Right there. As he gave up being an astronaut, he can't even go to the pharmacy, y'all. Man can't even go get some drugs to save the family. Not bad drugs, the good drugs. Okay, he can't even go get the prescription filled, man. And they all on his job. Okay, they all on his jock. It is what it is, man. Don't be mad at me. I'm just telling you what it is. Okay, don't be mad at me. So my thing is, yeah, we do have this petty, stupid way of thinking. Some of us, we got this petty, stupid way of thinking. Okay, of this tit for tat stuff. That ain't real life, man. That ain't real life. Shout out to Jalen Atkins. I see you in the building. He say, morning, family. Well, you new to me, Jalen. You're new to me. So good morning, my brother. Good morning. Okay. You're new to me. So good morning. All right. Now, people like to play this little game. Okay. People like to play this little game. Okay. Well, y'all gonna die alone too. Do you understand what a blessing it is to a man? Y'all, see, people did pick up on the die alone thing I kind of brought to the table. At least I believe it was me. I don't know. Maybe somebody said it before me. Don't make no difference. Kevin Samuels blew up with it, kind of used it as a tagline. Some folks got upset. Okay. And, I done had multiple channels, y'all. I done had multiple channels. So there's a lot of content that y'all ain't gonna never get to see. I have thousands of hours of broadcast hours that were done that y'all ain't gonna never get to see. It just is what it is. You didn't find me fast enough. Hey, life ain't fair. It's one of the things I've been saying. Life ain't fair. So you wasn't able to see some of the stuff that I've already done. But we gonna keep it real here. Okay? Life not being fair, you didn't get to see certain stuff. I've already actually figured out what does the man have to do who, quote unquote, never gets married, who's going to also die alone. Okay. Because women kind of throw that out there to try to pick with men. I actually figured out what that was. I said it years ago. I told folks right here on the panel, I told some folks. Okay, so what happens with the man doesn't get married? And he has to die alone too. What happens to that man? What is his personal struggle? Okay, what is his personal struggle? Because there is something that he has to deal with if he never gets married too. Okay, now I know some of you guys, y'all came over here thinking I was gonna say something about what's gonna happen to the women, and wasn't gonna really say nothing about what's gonna happen to that man. But it's in the title, y'all. It's in the title. The title say when women die alone versus when men die alone. It's in the title. Okay. Okay. It's in the title. See, if the man never gets married, okay, he never has a family. He got to deal with a certain issue too. His issue is he now he has to spend his money on whatever he wants to spend it on. That is what happens to a man who has to, quote unquote, die alone. He has to live his life spending his money on exactly what he wants to spend it on. That's his punishment. Okay? Now, I understand that may upset a couple people here or there. Okay? I understand it's not the same punishment a woman has. A woman has to go through life without a man's covering. She has to deal with all the negative situations that come along with not having a husband. Okay? And I know somebody want to say tit for tat because folks be immature, be silly and stupid. And you're going to say, well, you know what? He don't have a wife to cook for him. He already can cook. This Black America, baby. He already can cook. Okay? He going to spend less money on groceries. Okay? Yeah, I'm a single man. I rarely go to the grocery store and spend $100. I'm just keeping it real. I rarely go to the grocery store and spend $100. All right? It is what it is. You know? Now, my thing is I'm spending more and more money at the grocery store because I'm trying to stay out of fast food places and all that stuff just for health reasons because I don't want to be the old fat guy. So I'm changing up the diet, but I'm still not really spending more than I'm still not really spending more than $100 when I go to the grocery store because I only got to feed me. Okay. Now, am I gonna have some extra food in case a guest comes by? Sure, I get some extra. But my shopping list ain't that big, y'all. It ain't that big. I'm not going to a grocery store and filling up some grocery cart until stuff is falling all off. That's not what's happening. I'm just keeping it real. That's not what's happening. Okay? I ain't got to go to the grocery store and buy 8 chickens. Okay? I don't. It is what it is. I have to think about what I buy because, how long is it going to take me to actually eat it? But see, you don't have to think about that stuff when you don't have a wife. You ain't got no children, so you ain't got to worry about it. Now, I know for women, it's a little bit different because they go through this whole thing about preparing a meal. And a lot of women, whether they admit it or not, when they prepare a meal, they're going to think about the fact that they should be preparing a meal for themselves and their husband and their children that they do not have. As men, we don't think like that. It just is what it is, y'all. We just don't think like that. We don't go to bed at night, stressed or missing that quote unquote bodily comfort, And I understand people are going to want to say, Roger, you don't know. No. I talk to folks, y'all. I talk to folks. I ask people real questions. I see what's going on. I done been told by countless women about how they miss having a man in the bed with them. Okay? Y'all know what men think about before they go to sleep? It don't be missing no woman, okay? It don't be missing no woman. I'm going to keep it real. This is what a lot of men think about before they go to sleep. sports. Okay. Now I know folks ain't been telling folks that, and I understand men ain't really been dealing with it like that. But I'm just preparing y'all just in case y'all have one of these conversations with somebody. Y'all need to let folks know what's really going on. What are men thinking about before they go to sleep? Sports. How do I know? Because we over there falling asleep to Sports Center. Okay. We watch a basketball game, ain't really stressed about the next basketball game. So we turn it on, but we put on a sleeper. Okay, we put the sleeper on the TV, because see, the single man got to sleep on the TV, of course, because they single. They got a nice TV. Okay. We put the sleep on and we go sleep to the game that we wasn't that interested in. Okay. Shout out to Trail Bentley. We turn on some anime. Okay. And we go to sleep to some anime. All right. Shout out to Urban Reed. He say the TV guy. and he telling the straight truth right there. He telling the straight truth. We going to sleep to the TV guy. Okay. Myself, I may go to sleep to somebody with a I go to sleep to documentary sometime. Okay. I go to sleep to some interesting stuff. Sometimes I do stuff on biblical research. Sometimes I go to sleep to some space exploration. Okay. I look at certain things from scientific theory versus scientific fact, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I just go to sleep to the next episode of something that I watch, but I ain't finna actually be woke and listen to the next episode. And I just, hey, I'm going to sleep to the next episode. Is episode 4 coming on. I already watched episode 3. I'm tired. I'm gonna roll over and I'm gonna go to sleep. Okay, episode 4 playing though. Okay, but the sleeper on is cool. The sleeper on. But what men are not doing is laying in their beds talking about, I wish a woman was here. That's not what they're doing. I understand women want to think that. I understand they want to believe that somebody is suffering the same way they are. We not doing that, y'all. We not. It is what it is. Okay. Shout out to Urban Reed, y'all. He say, Roger, don't get doxxed and let us find out you're going to sleep to Kobe's greatest moments more than anything. Laugh out loud. Now, see, now you're going to make me say what I'm definitely not going to sleep to. You can bet for sure what I'm not going to sleep to is a Kobe highlight reel. You can best believe, you can bet your bottom dollar on that one, y'all. Okay, I done told y'all, hey, there's some things I bet my money on and some things I bet your money on. Y'all got a safe bet. Okay, I'm telling you, you're going to win every time. If you ever get somebody to say, I bet you Roger going to sleep to a Kobe highlight reel, you can bet on that one. Say, no, he not. You gonna win every time, okay? You gonna win every time, okay? Real talk, okay? Shout out to Gold P. He said, I go to sleep with a conversation with God. Hey, real talk right there. Real talk, okay? See, so me and we're not going through these different things that women go through because we ain't the same. We just not the same. I know women want us to be the same so they can feel like there's somebody suffering with them. And that's where it comes from, y'all. Misery loves company. They want to feel like someone's suffering with them. We're not going to sleep stressed. Okay? We're not going to sleep stressed. We good. Okay? We good. All right? I like to thank the Lord for the day I've had. I like to ask for mercy as I go to sleep. I like to, wake up the next morning and thank God for it. Okay? We ain't stressed like some women are stressed. Y'all worry about bills. I get it. Let me tell you how a man worries about bills, y'all. And the men can confirm this. Okay. See, when women get some bills are piling up, they stressing. And I understand it. I get it. I ain't tripping. I ain't making fun of them. But they worry about some bills, right? They pulling their hair out sometimes. Sometimes they going great early. Okay. They they tossing and turning off through the night. Because they worried about the lights. When they wake up, is the light still gonna be on? They know they ain't paid that light bill. I'm finna lay down and go to sleep. Hopefully I wake up and the light's still on. Now, I ain't saying this to make fun of anybody's situation. Bad stuff can happen to anybody, okay? Bad stuff can happen to anybody. But this is what happens when a man is single, he ain't got no wife, he ain't got no kids, okay? And I'm not going to say no man in that position is going to struggle financially. No, you got men that struggle in that position for at least for a while, too. But you know what's going to happen? He going to go to sleep, okay? If the lights on when he wake up, if the lights are off when he wake up, the lights just off. He ain't sweating it like that. Lights are great, okay? I am not finna sit here and tell you that lights ain't a good thing. Lights are great, okay? But if that man wake up tomorrow and the lights is off, he gonna keep it moving. Ain't gonna finna worry about it like that. I'm gonna pay it when I got it. Okay? See, that's how men deal with it. I'm gonna pay it when I got it. And see, this is the thing. For a lot of men, he ain't gonna have to wait too long to get it, because if he ain't got no wife and kids, it's not gonna take him a long time to catch up on the bill. He gonna be all right. We put a lot of money into women and children. It just is what it is, y'all. I don't know what you think it is. I don't know what you heard, but a lot of men put a good amount of money into women and children. Yes, even when we're not married, we put money into pursuing women. Okay. Now, nowadays, because there are so many single mothers, maybe we toss a little something to little Jimmy so he can stay out the way. Here, little Jimmy, here's a new toy. Go on upstairs and play. I'm gonna give little Jimmy a new game. I ain't gonna see little Jimmy for 8 weeks. Cause I done got him a little game for his sister. Every time I come through, Jimmy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hold on to this game, man. You can only play it when I'm here. I know little Jimmy gonna be busy every time I show up. Jimmy gonna be taking out soldiers. I'm gonna be taking his mama out. He gonna be dealing with one type of wound. I'm gonna be dealing with another. But we finna make it happen over here. So here, little Jimmy, go play this game for a while. But shout out to my main man, Rael. Rael is coming up, y'all. So I'm finna go ahead and give Rael the mic. And I'm gonna let him give his perspective on this, because every man knows when women die alone, it's gonna be very much different than men dying alone. There's no real tit for tat to be there. It just is what it is. There's no real tit for tat to be there. But go ahead, Rael. You have the floor, my brother. How you doing?
Peace, Roger. Peace to the chat and panel, whoever comes up when they come up. This is a very interesting video. It is a classic display of Black women specifically. And let me be clear. This is not something that I specifically just see with Black American women. I've seen this with Caribbean women and African women too. Using scripture to as weaponizing scripture or God, or the concept of God, to put or try to put men in their place or subdue men. I wanted to read something because I think it's appropriate for this. First and foremost, this dying alone concept or topic, everybody knows Kevin Samuels, rest in peace to him, made this a popular thing. And for some reason, many black females want to use it to kind of bludgeon back towards black men. But the purpose when Kevin was talking about it was not because he wished that they would die alone. He was trying to get them to change their behavior so they would not. So let's make that distinction. This particular female seemed to celebrate and find joy in the notion of black men being alone. The irony being is they're alone or would be alone because they're not married to you. But I think the Proverbs 31 woman is very appropriate here in this particular context. Proverbs 31, you don't have to be Christian to appreciate the wisdom of this particular scripture. Because it speaks to exactly what's taking place out here, especially amongst females of her caliber, her age. Because this particular woman, this queen, it shows you the completely different modality of thought as it relates to a woman, to her son specifically, who is a king, and how he's supposed to approach his wife. It starts out with the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So off the bat, his mother is the one that's driving this particular, the wisdom of this particular scripture. What my son and what the son of my womb and what the son of my vows. So she's saying that this is my legitimate, heir that I formed under the covenant of marriage. He is the product of doing it the right way. Because he could not have been the king had he been an illegitimate son. He could not have been. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Now, this is a very interesting aspect of this particular scripture, because what this mother, this queen, because she's operating in two roles here. She's speaking as a woman who used to be queen in terms of being married to a king, which was his father. And at the same time, she's speaking like a mother as well. And she's saying that there are those types of women who have so much corruption inside of them, so much evil within them, that they can bring down a king. So she's saying, be wary of these types of women, typically who corrupt a man's, for lack of a better word, virtue, typically through sex. Okay. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy heart. So, basically, be there for those in times of need when they're thirsty. those who are going through something, provide them something, a drink or something of sustenance to help them kind of take the pain away of what they're going through at that particular time. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. So she's saying, speak to those who are dumb and enlighten them before they get towards or before they enter into that gate of destruction. She's saying, don't let them get to that point. Speak some words of wisdom to them so they can change to a different path. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Now, if anybody knows in war, spoils of war is called what? It's called booty. So in a lot of ways, this is kind of like you could look at this as kind of a kind of funny spin from her. Because what she's saying is, as a king, you're going to be in a state of, sometimes you're going to be at war and you're going to conquer. But remember who has your heart, though. See, you can go out there and you can get, as the king, you're going to get out there, you're going to fight, you're going to get spoils of war, you're going to get booty. But remember where your heart resides, though. And this is something that a lot of females don't understand. A lot of females think that because they give you sex, they got your heart. And what they don't realize is that man in his full form cannot be manipulated through sex. You cannot manipulate a man, you cannot manipulate him through sex at all. A boy, that's a different matter. But a man, you cannot manipulate him through sex. Because he's going to want his self-respect first. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. I mean, many guys will want that kind of woman. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field and buyeth with the fruit of her hands. She planteth a vineyard. Now, this is describing a woman who is working. Okay, this is a woman that's putting in work. She's the king's wife. She's still putting in work. Okay, so this idea of people talking about the 50-50 and all that, like this is a woman that's married to a king, and she's still putting in work. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. Sewing. This is a very feminine act. I remember growing up around my great grandmother, other elder women, seeing them knit and sew. It's a very feminine act for women to actually partake in. She stretches out her, anybody that has any like old blankets from their grandmothers or their great grandmothers know how important this stuff is in families, how much spiritual value it brings, how much comfort it actually brings, not just a physical comfort in terms of keeping you warm, but it's also like a piece of them is still left behind, and it feels like their presence is still there physically, even when they're gone. She stretched out her hand to the poor, yes, she reached forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple, Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. So basically what this is saying is that her works are going to bring honor to her husband. And when people know that her children are from her, this is going to reflect very favorably upon her I don't like to say reputation, her character in the land or where she is. People are going to speak very fondly of her based on her works. So and this is critical, man. When it says her tongue is the law of kindness. See, this is something that is missing in a lot of the females that's in our group. They really believe being kind to a black man is weakness. And it's supposed to be the norm. It is not something that's supposed to be forced. Like it's to the point now that many of these females believe that any level of vulnerability to you as a black man is the most negative type thing. And it's like men will never tell you to be vulnerable to the wrong guy. And so
well, right. I got to cut in a little bit because Truth Telling came up, so I got to give him some room
I
to,
didn't see
get
you. Go
in.
ahead.
No, I figured, because I don't mind when people go a little while if it's just us up here, but he didn't came up. But I'm gonna say this, y'all. When you look at the link and you hear the woman talking, now I don't know how much time y'all spent around wives. She don't remind me of none of them. Okay, nope. She remind me of a wife on TV. I can tell you some wives on TV. Those were characters written up with people to get a laugh. That's what that
to entertain
was.
you. Okay. To entertain you, yes, exactly.
But she don't remind me of none of the wives I've been next to. And shout out to Sister George. What's going on, my sister? What's going on? Long live the Habitual Line Stepper. Shout out to Sister George is in the building, blessing us with her presence. Great to see you. Great to see you, y'all. Yeah, that lady didn't even sound like the old Sister George. I say that. I told you I ain't even used to like Sister George, but we cool now. We good. But yeah, that lady didn't sound like nobody's wife to me. Not to me. Not at all. Okay. And if she's somebody's wife, I'm gonna pray for her husband. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pray for her husband. Real talk. Okay, since she threw the word in there. But let me let Truth Teller get a little bit of room in here. Truth Teller, you got it, my brother.
Hey, good morning, y'all. I'm actually gonna target all of the chicks that was in this video, including Crimson Cure. Listen, gentlemen, we can't listen to a woman's perspective on manhood, on any aspect of manhood. They don't understand it, they can't relate to it, and they don't want to understand it, and they don't want to relate to it. You cannot take advice on manhood from a woman. Now, we already know what the problem with the lady was, that this whole video was about. But I don't know if y'all peep game, because if listening to Crimson about criticizing that, sorry, did y'all lose me?
You back with us. You back with us.
Oh, okay. What Crimson Cure didn't actually say anything in her response to this woman, in her critique of the woman. All she said is she didn't go the spiritual route. That's why it's not accepted. What in God's name does that mean? If she was going to say this, she should have told the truth. Men are built to die alone. Honestly, in most of our history as a species, most men do die alone because most men don't have families. And that's still the case to this day. I know women think because they think they can all get a man that, men could all get a woman. As men, we know that's not the case. Not every man's going to find a woman. And the reason why men know this is because how we select women. We don't pick specific qualities and say this is it or nothing. Men gauge women on a range. That's why when you go out, you'll see a tall, attractive dude, slim, with a short, fat, not so attractive woman. Whatever she qualified for was within his range and he accepted it. That's what you do when you're hunting and you need something to eat. You don't get picky about the food you find. Yo, I want a ham. So I'm going to go out here and hunt a ham. If I don't find a ham, I ain't eating nothing. Well, then you're going to die. Men, I want a ham, but you know what? I'm going to take a pigeon if I could get one. And you take the pigeon. Women don't think about this. So for some strange reason, they think our outcomes are equal. And as men, we know it's not equal. And even Crimson Cure fell into this trap, which is why I don't think, whether they're speaking for men or against men, women should speak on men's manhood at all. I don't even think they should give advice on dating because they lie when they give men advice on, attracting women. They all do it. Every single one of them, even the ones that say that they're on your side. They'll tell you what attracts a certain kind of men to them. But as far as how it goes in, the rest of the community, the public, it has nothing, they give you some kind of description that they like, a unique description that they like, but that don't help you with the masses when you're in these streets. So how is that even a helpful advice? So I think we just need to steer away from this whole getting criticism of manhood from these ladies, all of them, even the ones that want to talk up for us.
Now, I'm gonna say, I think, and this is me knowing the Crimson Cure. I think the reason she really didn't go into it because she knew, or she felt it wasn't her place to do so. I'm gonna give her that much credit. You know what I'm saying? She just gonna criticize the woman because the woman was clearly out of pocket at the end of the day, but didn't go into it much because I'm gonna assume she didn't think it was her place because she is a woman to do so. So I'm gonna say I can respect that. Okay. But yeah, this woman who came up with this petty argument, y'all gonna die alone too. Where's that a problem for a man? The man
it ain't never been a problem.
Yeah. So the man gonna eat what he want every day because he ain't got to eat what his wife made. The man got to spend money the way he want to because he don't have to hear his wife criticizing him about how to spend his money. The man can drive the car that he wants that he can't afford because he ain't got to hear nothing about her saying something about, well, we need something for the kids too. So no, he getting the $2. He not getting that $4. He getting the $2 because that's what he want to do. He want to be out there flossing and flexing. Okay, so he got to do all these different things exactly the way he wants to do them because he's quote unquote alone. Now, see, men give up stuff so we can have a family. We understand there's a beautiful part about having a family, and there's a very beautiful part about being alone. That's how men are. I get it. It's not the same for women. For women, there's this great thing about having a family, and there's these certain stresses that come with being alone. It ain't that for men. We weren't made to need you. We were made to be able to operate without you. Now, even God said it's good for a man not to be alone. He didn't say it was necessary. He did say it was good. We not acting like it's not a good thing when a man gets a wife and has a family. Sure, most men gonna cheer that on at the end of the day. Okay, I mean, even AL be messing with Tunnel Runner sometime about all the good reports that Tunnel Runner has about how his wife doing such great stuff for him. But yeah, we all really cool with it at the end of the day. And even he doesn't say, well, no, that's because I done had a wife and it didn't work out and he got this good wife, so I don't want to hear about it. That's not saying he hate the fact Tunnel Runner got a nice wife. You know what I'm saying? He's just saying it reminds me of the fact that mine didn't work out for me. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay at the end of the day. That is okay. So yeah, us being alone versus women being alone, total different concept. Man could come home from work, he can actually jump on this video game. I know the women talk about they hate the guys that's on the video games all day long. Well, that man can come home from work, he can get on his game for 3-4 hours, and he's good, and he got to hear one word about it. I don't see where his problem is. Just is what it is. Alone is good for me. Go ahead.
This whole equality thing. You know what, man? I hear a lot of them talk, and they try to do it in different scenarios that don't fit them. Which you see it, and you realize, right, that we're not the same. And when it comes to hard work, they'll acknowledge that we're not the same. But when it comes to things that look like a benefit or something they could tear us down with, suddenly we are the same, right? If it's something bad that's happening to them because of their situation being a woman, suddenly it's going to happen to men too. But if it happens to men, we're not women. Our situation is different if the same issue or same thing occurs. They don't take that into account. They feel better because they got one up on us, and it's just not true. Most dudes, if you're a man, if you're not married, you've probably spent most of your time not in a relationship in your life, right? Because getting married is probably the longest relationship you're going to have. And then between the marriages, the different relationships you'll have throughout your life, you'll spend more time not in a relationship than you are in one. Women, on the other hand, is different. Even if they don't get married, they'll try to spend more time in a relationship than not in one. And then they start going berserk like this lady when they haven't been in a relationship for a while. They deteriorate mentally. And that's proven when they're not in a relationship for an extended period of time. Men, not necessarily. I mean, there is some deterioration that happens over a longer period of time, but not like women. Women need that social relationship as a significant other. That's why some of them flip to being gay. They go the lesbian route because they need to be in a relationship. And if they can't find a man, they'll take a woman until that blows up in their face. But it's a different story.
Well, the funny thing is that even though there's so much misandry in this society and in the West in general, if you ask most women who would you rather be friends with, guys or females, they'll tell you guys most of the time. And they recognize that guys are actually actual friends to you when they're friends to you. Whereas it's not the case with females. And if you ask them who would you rather take advice from, they'll tell you more so than not, they'll rather take advice from a guy than a female. And if you ask them, would you trust most women to be around your man, specifically your husband alone? Most of them say no. So when you put this all together, you look at them and be like, why do y'all follow other females so much then? That clearly shows that when it really comes down to it, your best chance in life as a woman is to follow masculine leadership. That's your best chance at survival in the world. You just cannot get around it because women are followers by nature. They're going to follow their family. They're going to follow their girlfriends. They're going to follow their boyfriends. They're going to follow their husband. They're going to follow the people at the pastor at church. They're going to follow. So you need somebody that's going to be a steady force for you to follow. So for this female to make this particular video, basically she's mocking black men. And it's like, you don't, you're at an age where you're not supposed to be this dumb. Like this woman at least had to be at least 40, 45 years old. Like, and she was sitting there talking like, first of all, she was talking like she was a baddie, number one. And it's like, chick, like you're not even, you're like 5.5, maybe 6. Like you're not even there like that. And you're sitting there like, if anybody should be trying to run to a husband, it should be you. Because on the market of competition, you ain't there. And that's what makes it so funny, because it's like the females who should be trying to run to marriage the most are the ones who are speaking so negatively towards men. And it's like you're talking like as if you have better like options out here. That's like a homeless man asking for food from you, and you give him some food and he say, man, I don't want this. And it's like, bruh, what other options you got? You know? And that actually happened to me in college one time when a guy had some tofu and rice from his Caribbean spot. It's good. I gave him, he's like, man, I'm hungry, man, I need some food. And I was like, all right, here you go. And then 20 seconds later, I hear, hey, man, what the hell is this? And I turned around, I was like, dude, it's food. He was like, man, I don't want this shit. I was like, well, nigga, don't eat it. But it was like, dude, you homeless, bro. I mean, you act like I gave you some dirt to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's these females, man. These females in the same position. It's like, you act like you're in a position to get better than what your options are, and you're not. And you're sitting here like you're the female. I'm gonna be honest with you, like in terms of physicality, a lot of black men, and this is just men in general, when it comes to marriage, and this is why men ultimately win at love more than women do. Because the fundamental thing that a lot of these females don't understand as it relates to men is that when it comes to marriage, your looks is not the deciding factor.
Yeah.
It's a part of it. It's a part of it. A man doesn't care whether his friends think. First of all, a man's friends really, like, if he's happy, I mean, unless the chick is just butt ugly, you know what I'm saying? Dude's gonna be like, yo, man, you can get better than that, bro. What's up? But other than that, like, dude's friends is really gonna be like, man, is she treating you good? She respects you, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got that, dudes are gonna be like, hey, man, I'm happy for you, you know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to marrying a woman, like, the looks is not the deciding factor. As long as she's attractive to that particular man, that's all that matters to him. What matters more to him is, are you respectful? Are you kind? Are you caring? You know, are you patient? Are you forgiving? You know, these are some of the attributes that men are going to take into consideration when it comes to marriage. Whereas for females, they go from, most females, when they meet a guy and they tell their friends about him, the first thing that their friends are going to ask, what does he look like? Most females don't actually care like how the man treats them. Like, that's not the first thing. Like, even though they be like, well, I want a man to treat me good, and bull crap. Because if we look at most females, their first choice of a guy, most of the time, man, that dude treated them like pure crap, and they love that dude. They love that guy.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's to the point now that women don't even want to say nothing good about the guy to their own close friends, because if they think they say something too good, she gonna try to sleep with them. Let's keep that real.
Right,
you
right.
know, that's part of this whole friendship, but we want to be enemies at the same time. Stupidity that women are involved with that they don't have to be involved with. This is just something they choose to do. Now, and the thing is, you know, walking through life with a husband as a woman is a good thing. I ain't gonna never say it's a bad thing. I understand there's gonna be women who are gonna have to suffer a couple of other things if they don't get to walk through life with a husband. And I'm not gonna make fun of those women at the end of the day. But when it comes to a man, we be married to you and trying to avoid you. There's a thing that goes on that a lot of people don't talk about because it don't sound right. It don't sound cool. It don't go over well. The masses won't accept it. But see, I'm gonna just tell y'all what it is, because it is what it is. We try to avoid you when we married to you. Real talk. It's a lot of men living a lot of part of their life where they still trying to avoid their wife. That don't mean he don't love her. It don't mean he ain't gonna protect her. It doesn't mean he ain't gonna lead her. It's just, for a lot of guys, y'all just talk a little too much. I'm just sometimes.
Yeah, I'm gonna translate, Roger. I just need a little time to myself. I got to get myself together, and I got to rest. I got to mentally rest. I gotta get to know myself better, Roger. I got to develop my internal emotions. So I need some time alone. So I'm gonna go ahead on to the club. I'll see you later. Bye.
Yeah, I'm not saying men don't love women. We do. We love them far more than they even understand sometimes, if anything. But we do be trying to avoid them a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna come home a little late. Because me and the fella, we going straight to the bar after work. That ain't because he just want to see the fellas like that. And women be like, you want to go hang out with your friend. It ain't really because he just want to go hang out with his friends. It's about he needs you in smaller doses. That's what's going on in men's head. But we not gonna say it to you like that, because it's gonna hurt your feelings at the end of the day. We're trying to take you in smaller doses. Don't mean we don't love you. It just means I'd rather deal with you for 4 hours than rather deal with you for 6 hours. I need the first 2 hours to go to the bar or something. I got to do something. And I can deal with you 4 hours after I get home from work, and it's going to be all right. It's not a bad thing. We're not saying we don't love you. I am not here promoting that men don't love women. It's just we need you in smaller doses sometimes. But since Champ Card then came up, I'm going to go ahead and let him get the mic. Champ Card, you got it, my brother.
Hey, brothers, happy Friday. Wherever you are, I hope you are at an air conditioner or something like that, because it's going to be so hot, especially here where I'm at, right here in southern Missouri. It's going to be close up to 103 degrees today. Ooh. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to y'all.
Yes. But back to this subject about this lady, and I was watching her and listening to her, and she sounds so much of your typical radical black feminist woman, trying acting 304 boss type of behavior, talking about all you men are going to die alone. But here's the difference. Men over their 50s, they're still single. They still have time to find a woman. Mm-hmm. And, especially if you're a white man, you got some money, you're single and everything else, you've kind of worked your retirement age and all that, you can use some of that money and just go overseas and find some lady from the Philippines or Thailand and everything else. But women, whether they're white or black, they don't have that option. They don't. Once they're over the age of 35 or 40, they're on breakdown mode because they don't have a man in their life. They're either if they have a child and everything else, they're going through pure hell and everything else. Or if they're childless and everything else, even if they don't have a child and everything else, they're still going pure hell because they don't have a man in their life. Look at some of these past social media some of the videos that have been posted by some of these ladies. One lady who just turned 40 years old is sitting up there crying because she's single. She doesn't have a man in her life and everything else. You got Claudette Jordan, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. She's up there talking about, I need a man and everything else, because she had been listening to all that junk that some of the sisterhood have been spewing out for ages and everything else. So, ladies, be careful. Stop listening to some of your friends and everything else, because you don't have that much wiggle room at all once you hit the age of 40 years old. You don't have a man in your life. Whereas men, if they're in their 50s, they get either their passports and go and find women overseas, or they can still find a woman and everything else that's younger, that's about maybe 15, 20 years younger than everything else, and they're single and everything. So I just will land my plane on that. Floor is yours.
All right, I'm gonna say real quick, y'all. I mean, it is what it is out here, y'all. Women gonna have different struggles than men gonna have. I'm gonna say in this, um, this woman who in her defense, I'm not gonna say she's radical in comparison to most black women. Most black women are exactly what she is, and I personally believe, because I don't know who she is, I personally believe this is just a misery wants company type of situation. I
Mhm.
really do believe that's where she's speaking from. I think she's an unmarried woman who's truly above 30, which is where women gonna have problems. It ain't at 40. If you ain't married to by 30, you will lose at the end of the day, and your problems done been started. Okay. So I think this is just a misery wants company type of situation, and she must have heard something about dying alone, and she got a little tricky, so she went and made a video. Women do stuff like that. It's cool though. I mean, do you? At the end of the day, we all got freedom of speech, right? But Pastor then came up, so let me go ahead and let Pastor get the mic. Go ahead, Pastor.
What up, Roger? What up, fellas? So yeah. So the thing about it is, in time, life tends to get a little bit more consolidated and so therefore a little bit harder. When men get about 30, 40, 50, they can find pleasures in fishing, actually traveling, the one sports car that they working on. Shout out to Mr. Z. You know, all this. So we can find, because we understand that as life goes, as life grows, and you get to the pinnacle, the apex of life, things get consolidated. It's isolated and it's lonely at the top. Men understand at the end of the day, all you have is your family and what your family has done and the accomplishment of you, yourself, and your family, and you're okay with that. You're okay with the fishing trips. You're okay with the cookouts. You're okay with you're okay with these things. But for I think the biggest issue with them is nothing is ever enough. When they get to their 40s and 50s and these things, rather than appreciate the consolidation of life, they want the expansion of life, and that's not how it goes. That's like an upside down life. That's not the reality of the pyramid of life, like the upgrowth of life, and they don't understand. And that's just why I hate when women say that they are mathematical. No, you're not. You just understand basic mathematics. Even up to calculus, that's basic. Y'all are not truly mathematical. Y'all are not. They don't truly understand how stuff build blocks up, and how stuff build blocks up is to a consolidation, and to a ownership. And a man is okay at the end of the day. At the end of the day of what he's owned, so he never truly dies alone because he's understood how much he's come in contact with. The reason why they don't die alone either, they just die unappreciative,
Well,
ungrateful.
well, I'm gonna say this, y'all. I'm gonna advise men to get out the habit of saying what women don't understand. Hold them to accountable. If you don't understand, that's your fault personally. If you're 18, you should know better. Just is what it is. Now I know technically they may not understand this or understand that, but my thing is don't let them off the hook for it. You 18 years old, you're supposed to know everything you need to know for the rest of your life. And for whoever say, well, how's somebody gonna do that? I've said plenty of times life ain't fair. It just is what it is. Now, the thing about it is men going through life alone is fun. Women going through life alone, not so fun. That's why it's going to be different for us. Yeah, we'll go along through life, but see, for the example that you just threw, yeah, he gonna work on that sports car he got. He got that 68 Mustang finally, and he gonna bring it back to life, quote unquote. And he gonna have a great time doing that. His friends may come over from time to time, and they may drink beers while they work on the car together. When he works on it by himself, he's gonna enjoy himself. The thing about men and women is, see, we enjoy being alone. We sacrifice our alone time so we can be with the woman and we can have a family. Because again, y'all, it's men married right now hiding from their wives. It just, and I'm not saying it like it's this super negative thing. I'm just saying that is the reality of the situation. You have men who volunteer to do stuff just to spend a little time away from their wife. Okay, that's how that game goes. We love y'all. We love y'all to death. Literally, we will literally die for you. I'm not saying we don't love y'all, but men want to spend a little bit of time away from their wife sometime, and wives don't necessarily get that the way they should. They don't necessarily
Well,
respect it the way they should. But we want y'all. I ain't saying we don't want you, but a man that's alone, he got to make all these tough decisions about how he's gonna spend his money every single way that he wants to. That's what
hell,
his big
sometimes,
problem is.
Rod, sometimes it's a problem, for men, to go hang out with your friends, and go watch a sporting event, whether it's a baseball, football, or basketball game and everything else. Because some ladies are not just quite into sports and everything else. Sometimes, in marriages, the woman wants you to have some of their qualities and what they like to do. You know, they want you sometimes to maybe stay home and everything else, or do some do a little bit of chores or help her out and everything else, or go out shopping with her. But men, we would like to go up there and go watch a baseball game, go watch a pay-per-view boxing match or MMA fight and everything else. And some women, don't like it, and some women take offense of it if we start hanging out with our friends and doing something like that. If we end up watching sporting events and everything else. We asked her, "Would you like to come and everything else? Don't you want to enjoy this?" Joy, she said, "Nah, you could go. No, I just wish that you would spend a little bit more time with me and everything instead of your sports and everything else." Look, men can't help that. We like to watch sports. We like because we played it and everything else in high school and everything. We used to play, stickball with our friends and everything else, and we kind of like to reminisce and everything else and enjoy the sporting events and everything else.
Well, I
So
mean,
women need to have men to have their space while we allow their women while we allow the women to have their spaces to go ahead and hang out with their lady friends and everything else. You might go down to watch a show, a concert, and everything else. Just as long as you're not cheating with another man over there at the concert and everything, or go shopping at the mall and everything else. Like a lot of women like to do that. They like to hang out with their women and go up there and go to, let's say, the Dillards or Macy's and go shopping on go on like a little shopping day and everything else.
That
Men
takes
allow them to do that.
that takes
What?
your money. That takes your money to do that, and so
I know.
that's not using their time productively. If you want to look at
Yeah.
the true use of women's time productively, was the actual holiday originally called Mother's Day, Women's Day. That's Mother's Day was started by this woman named Ann Jarvis
Brothers
Reeves or something. Reeves, yeah. And
Reeves.
Reeves, yeah. And unfortunately, white men did steal that from her, and they started something called Mother's Day or Mother Tag, and even Small Stash used it in his birthing houses, and she ended up suing the Carnation. She ended up suing. I forgot. She ended up suing the president. Who was the president at that time? She ended up suing, or the government. She ended up suing. But she ended up dying broke because she ended up dying broke. And
Yeah.
but she didn't die broken hearted because she ended up having a fight or a cause for. And she was fighting for women to actually serve society And that was what Mother's Day was all about. So Mother's Day wasn't even about having kids. It was about serving society. And the women today don't even serve society, man.
No.
They said that
What,
they're not serving society for as friendships with each other. They have horrible friendships with each other.
Hmm.
They're not
yeah.
serving society for as being better employees, being better. They're not serving societies even on a walking trail. They trying to fight with and argue with people on walking trails and biking trails. They're not serving society in the places that they're
What,
at. So
well,
therefore, at the end of life, they're not happy with
what,
how with their servitude of society, which is
this
for
is,
they go against their whole
well, hold on
Mother's
now.
Day nurturing position.
Hold on, because I want y'all to kind of not go too far off track. The issue is women are having more issues today because more women are alone today. Okay, women need to be with somebody for the most part. The average single woman is problematic to herself, and then she becomes problematic to other people. That's just the way it goes. So the thing is, they're not comfortable with themselves. I'm not saying they can't be, but I'm saying I don't even know if they can because they are supposed to be with somebody. They were literally made to be with somebody. So it's part of their actual nature. The
And
thing is,
Roger, that's
the
why I
women
disagree because the original lady that
so
created Mother's Day didn't have any kids. It wasn't with nobody.
hold on. Disagree with what? You say you disagree. What do you disagree with?
So the original woman that created Mother's Day, well, she ended up having kids.
I haven't said anything about the woman who created Mother's Day. What do you
But
disagree with?
this goes into it though, because she wasn't
Yeah,
actually with anyone initially, didn't have any kids. When
brother.
she found
I'm
purpose,
trying to
she
understand what you disagree with so I
No,
can
I think
deal with
so.
you.
okay.
So, Roger,
My
I
only
think
disagreement
y'all
is
hold on, Pastor. Hold on.
my only disagreement is real quick is she never found no purpose in life to even find a man in life. So I agree with you at the end of the day that they need to find somebody because she ended up finding somebody having kids. However, she never found no purpose in life to even find the engagement of a man to even want to have kids with her in life. So I'm not completely
So she
disagreeing.
died
It's
a
like
loser. Okay, and
a quarter disagree.
Well, Pastor went in the direction that I was actually going to go in terms of that's why I brought up the Proverbs 31 woman because um, part of that was her being of service. I mean that's really what that scripture is about. It's about a woman being of service to her king, which is her husband, and every woman that's married to a man, your husband is your king. Um, being of service to her family as far as her children as well, being of service to her community too. Okay, and so um, that is what family is. Women's identity used to be based on how healthy their children were and how healthy their men were and how fit they were because through their nourishment they could go out there and accomplish the things that they wanted to accomplish on behalf of their family. Women's identity literally used to be in the family, and then these knucklehead females came along and made being a homemaker a negative thing. I grew up with my great grandmother. Well, I grew up around her in my early formative years, and I can tell you there was a great benefit to being around a feminine woman whose whose sole focus was the health of her family, the health of her husband, the well-being of her family and husband. But she was the kind of woman that when people died in the church, they would ask her to cook food for the families and things like that. To this day, our family reputation is very high because of her and my great grandfather. So, um, uh, Pastor went to something that I was actually,
well,
trying to remark on earlier, which was this actual service. And because what this woman is talking about, when she's saying down alone, she's talking about it within the context of marriage. This is not the context of boyfriend and girlfriend. This is within the framework of marriage. So how do y'all get to that level? How do y'all get men to get to that level to want to marry y'all? Well, it ain't gonna be based on how your disposition is, because if your disposition is to try to clown men and say, "Oh, well, you just, you need to be." Basically, what she was saying was, you need to get these bust down, ran through chicks that are available, since you can't get the women that you really want. And the reality of the situation is, a lot of men are not complaining about not being able to get the women that they like. It's not that. There are plenty of men who can actually attract attractive women. It's the fact of the character and the quality of those females. When men say what they are not looking for, it's based on the kind of woman that's on, like, her behavior on the inside. It's not her exterior. A lot of these females just assume men are talking about women that's physically appealing that they can't get, but that's not true.
Oh, see, this is my thing, right? I'm just trying to understand what he disagreed with, because at the end of the day, we all talking about women being wives, and when women were wives back in the day, the things that make them happy would normally be there. See, you would actually be in service to not just your own family, you'd be in service to certain community things too. That's what I'm trying to figure out, what exactly he disagreed with, because who y'all
So,
think the Girl Scout master is? Usually it's a married woman. That's how it used to be. Now, I mean, maybe nowadays you might find a single woman doing it, but that's how it was back in the day. When we had the little events for the neighborhood, who was doing that stuff? Who was making the cupcakes for the event? The women, the married women. Who was
the
making the
married
cakes? The
woman.
married women. Who was serving at the tables? The married women. So that's
Hmm.
why I was trying to figure out exactly what he disagreed with, because I just didn't actually understand what he disagreed with.
My disagreement was, I think we're ending up at the same, we end up at the same equation. Our mathematics is a little bit different. All I'm saying is, when the women can start out with individualized talents amongst themselves, and end up it being something for the greater society. So when we end up at the same position, they're not going to be happy at the end of their life without doing something for the greater society. So we end up at the
Being
same
of service.
position.
Yeah, being of
All I'm
service.
saying is, it takes a little bit. I think it takes a different path. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay,
she's
so
an anomaly. She's an anomaly.
now what I'm
If
saying, he
you
didn't
ask
disagree with
the
anything though.
average female who is single, has she ever volunteered anywhere, she's gonna tell you no, and that's all you need to know. The average female is not trying to be of service to the greater society. The
What
average female in our group is
what
trying to see what she can get of value for herself only.
Okay, well, see, my thing is, then he didn't actually disagree with me, because I never said that. That was my point. I was trying to
Okay.
see, did he
Okay.
actually
Then I never
disagree with
disagreed that.
something
I
I
mean, I
said?
didn't disagree.
I
I just would
never
like
said
to add
I,
that. I
I
like to
didn't.
add that.
Well, I mean, that's fine to add it, but I'm just saying I ain't never said nothing against that. Okay, the reason women feel fulfilled is because they're doing something for a person. Their whole makeup is to do something for somebody. That's why they're supposed to be with a husband. A husband's gonna direct them in things they need to do. As the family grows, now you got more people to serve. Then people get old enough, children get old enough. Now you're gonna do stuff for a community. Because what are men asked to do? Men are asked to take care of themselves, take care of their wives at the time, then have children, and then as you get of age, you're supposed to start doing more stuff for a community. So you are supposed to be in service in some kind of way. The
Hmm.
thing is, when you talk about living a life, because when in the context of dying alone, it's about what kind of life did you live when you died. The men have always been in service. So that's why women need to understand, them talking about men that alone will never be the same, because a man is going to be in service to the society regard. We don't have these selfish natures where we want to do everything by ourselves, make all the money
Mhm.
by ourselves, and only spend it on us. That's not natural for a man. So
And the
that's what.
men that do
So
that, Roger,
what
feel
ain't
like
no men
very
really
isolated.
ain't no man really doing that. That's made
No,
up.
no,
What
no,
man
no
has
men are
ever
really
done that?
doing that.
Yeah, they
Even
don't
the richest
exist.
man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those men don't exist. People say stuff as if it's a real thing.
We are in a society that's built by men. Nobody gives us service more than men do. Like it ain't even worth talking about the men who don't be of service, because there's so many men who are of service to their community, to their society. I mean, that's all you see is men
I'm a
organizations
serviceman.
trying to answer this. All these nonprofits that's out here built by men, designed by men to address ills in society. Men in the military who don't even have wives literally protect women every day. Like it's not even
we
like
got
I'm a
graveyard.
serviceman
With,
myself, and
and,
and
and,
you know what? And if I were to lose my life right now, God knows I would be so happy with the service that I have given to society. I'm a serviceman. I'm a
what,
serviceman in the
what,
healthcare field,
what,
and I won't die alone because I've died because I would die with all the service, the gratitude, my lineage, my son, and the servitude
no, no,
and
no.
the
But
greatness that I've given to
hold on,
society.
Pastor. Hold on now, because my thing is, I ain't disagreeing with you, but this is the thing. We got fields of men that died unmarried. They was in a
But their
war.
service was there though. I mean,
Hold
yeah.
on, Pastor. Dang, let me say. I'm not saying that they don't mean nothing. I'm saying there's literally fields of men who never got married, never had children, but they died in service to their country. They're the reason we live the way we live right now, because they went and fought a fight that needed to be fought at the time. They never had a chance to actually go lead a service and get married. Y'all, let's not forget, a lot of servicemen go in right after high school. Maybe he
facts.
was dating a girl. Maybe they was gonna get married and have a family. He never got a chance. It
Hmm.
just is what it is. He just never got a chance. He died on the battlefield. Now he in the grave. Yes, he's been in service to us as a people. Quote unquote died alone. It ain't the same for us. He died a hero. So he's not just some selfish person who just said, "Well, I only want to work and make money for myself and only do for myself." Nobody looks at him that way. He died a hero. Okay. Any random grandfather. Okay. Any random grandfather. What he do? He worked back in the day. You know, he maybe he was born in the 1920s. He been through a lot of negative stuff because he was born in the 1920s as a black man. Okay. He took care of his family as best he could. Maybe only had a third, fourth grade education. He didn't necessarily build some factory, but he did work. He did provide for his children, and he provided a way for his children to go to the next level. He dies. We go to his funeral. He's a hero. Now, he may not be a worldwide hero, but everybody who know the man know he a hero at the end of the day. Us, we don't really die alone like that. If the man never had a wife, he lives in a certain society. He doesn't service things for people. Maybe he was just a handyman. I'm gonna even say it. Maybe he was just a handyman. But you know what? When Maud needed somebody to come fix the water, she called over Carl. Carl went over there and did it. Okay, that's what he gave to society. Miss Alice needed her car looked at. Carl went over there and looked at it. He got her running again. He did all kinds of different individual things for a society. Never got married, never had kids, but he dies. He's still looked at as a great man because he's been in service to people. Men will never die alone in the way that women will, because men gonna always serve society. What happens to a man that won't do nothing? People don't respect him.
So
Let's just
Roger,
keep that real.
you're saying that men die in pride and women die in shame.
No, what?
No.
It's all about choice at the end of the day. I'm saying the average man that dies has done a lot for a lot of people. He's never going to quote unquote die alone because he felt unfulfilled. The reason it's an issue for
Right.
women is because they're selfish and then they
Right.
die and they're unfulfilled.
Thank you. Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
It'll never be the same for
Perfectly
us.
stated. Never be the same.
I think we need to take into account fundamentals. The fact that you're a man requires you to have done a lot of things in your life alone.
Hmm.
Trials and tribulations you got to go through. You might have some friends there, but most of it you got to deal with it alone. Men spend a lot of time with themselves figuring things out, thinking about things, planning things. How am I going to do this? building the drive, building the steps. They spend a lot of time alone and a lot of time alone dealing with pain, trials, and tribulations. Women don't work that way. So if you now tell a woman who's never spent her life doing anything on her own, now that she has to die alone, that is traumatic to them. You tell that to a man, he's gonna be like, all right, well, I gotta go, I gotta go. If whether I'm alone or somebody's dead, it's not gonna change the fact that I'm dying.
Truth.
So
You know it's gonna
this
hurt
is
them.
what it
It's
is.
hurting them because they see females in their family that's already died alone. They've already
Yeah,
seen
it scares them.
it.
It really does.
Yep, it
Scares
I
them.
does.
watched my aunt die alone, man, and she was a single career woman, paid her house off. I remember when she was on dialysis, right? And I used to take her back and forth to her dialysis appointments. Or they do them early in the morning, and she'd be so tired and so weak. And I had a little sports car, Nissan 350Z. She could barely fit in it or climb
Oh,
out of it. So it was little. At a 2005, at the 2005 350Z. Shout out to Mrs. Z, right? I mean,
oh wow.
that's how me and Mrs. Z connect. 'Cause
Hey,
we both like Z
yeah, nice
cars.
car, brother. Nice
That's
car.
a
Nah,
nice
And
yeah,
car.
that's a
and
nice
and
car.
I used to like it was pearl white. It was pearl white. I ended up selling it. I ended up selling it to a father that was getting it ready for that was getting it ready for his college graduate son. So I was proud to do that and pass it along. But I remember going to pick her up for her dialysis appointments, and she was never married. She was always a wild woman and driving S10 Chevy pickup trucks and motorcycles and drinking whiskey and
Oh,
always a wild woman, man. And I love my Aunt Linda Carroll, but like it's I remember how sick and how downtrodden she was. And no, my mom, my father definitely helped as well. We used to carry her back and forth and go see her and do things for her. And I feel bad for it was just nasty work. And she ended up giving her house away to one of my aunts that is in the same position. And on her dying bed, she looked at me and she said, "I wish I would have wrote my will and gave my house to you." And I didn't blame her. I wasn't mad at her. I hugged her. She had kidney. She had nephritic. She had we call it nephritic cancer, kidney
oh,
cancer,
oh.
and
Mm.
it metastasized, made to her bone marrow, and she ended up
That's
losing her
terrible.
life. And and you know what? And my aunt let that house rot, and I look at that house, and I'm so sick at what happened with it, and I see their legacy just go to a waste because it's just you see their legacy go to a waste because they didn't plan it out right, and it's just sad to see.
Well, well, I
It's really
mean,
sad to see.
sorry for your loss, of course, but women don't really do legacy like that. Legacy is
No,
really something for men.
for
You know what I'm
men,
Right.
saying? Women attach on to a man building a legacy. And
or they're supposed to.
yeah, men and women are just different. So therefore, even the concept of dying alone will always be different because a man is gonna still be who he is, whether he gets a woman or not. And I'm gonna say this: even that whole thing about men don't get the women they want, yes, they do. What a lot of people don't get, it's about context. Every woman I got, I wanted. I went after her and I got her. Now she didn't end up being good enough for me to keep her, but I got every woman I really wanted. Okay. And I get the woman saying something about, well, y'all went up to some woman who said no, every man gonna get rejected. Some woman gonna have a girlfriend. I mean, she gonna have a boyfriend at the time I meet her. Heck, some of them got a girlfriend at the time I meet her. Some
Man, rejection is a part of the whole
yeah,
process with guys. Like, I
yeah.
mean, it's like we like. I mean, 99 guys out of 100 could be interested in a woman, and the one guy that does not have interest in them, it will make them lose their mind. It'll be cooked. Guys, guys could get rejected by 99 chicks, but they get that 100th chick, they good.
All I need is one.
Exactly. And,
Right.
and the thing is, like, they just kind of make up scenarios based on men are going to do this, and they really base it on what they do.
Right.
I don't care nothing about some woman who said no. She's an idiot. She said no to me. That's how men think most of the time. I don't remember a woman who said no to me. You think I talked to some random woman at a bus stop or something and she said no and I remember anything about that woman? No. I can't tell you what she was dressed or nothing like that. I'm going to forget her in a day or two. She's not going to even be in my memory bank. She's not worth me remembering at the end of the day. So they try to push this narrative like we the same. It's never the same with men and women. It's never the same.
Yeah. You
We
know,
get what
Rod,
we want and understand it wasn't good enough to keep if we don't marry her. Y'all just don't get what y'all want. That's
hey,
a whole different scenario.
Roger, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Chapman. After Chapman, let me
Yeah.
get Gold P
You
in here.
know, if you notice that a lot of these hardcore black feminists who talk bad about men are the ones that are dying alone. I mean, they talk so much crap, about the man and all that type of stuff. But if they don't find a man, they're in a lesbian relationship and all that, and they just talk bad about man, but behind closed doors, they're hurting inside and everything else. And a case study of that too, was this female pop singer I had one as one of my avatars a couple weeks ago when I was on your platform, was this lady named Phyllis Hyman. If you all remember Phyllis Hyman, beautiful woman. She was 6'1", nice looking and all that. She was married and everything else. She married her manager. But the marriage only lasted 4 years because while he was supposedly a manager, she was bossing him around and everything else. And she would go on these talk shows talking about I had to get rid of that man because he wasn't doing this, he wasn't doing that, and everything else. But as years gone by, she was doing all these sad songs about her life and everything else, being alone, not having a man in her life. And finally, on the day that she was supposed to perform with the group The Whispers, she took her own life because she was tired of living and everything else and being alone.
All right, let me jump in real quick because I got some other guys coming up. A shout out to I'm just gonna say Derek W. And, I'll just leave it at that. Derek W. He sent the cash out. I don't know exactly what the name is if he's in the chat under a different name, but Derek W. Shout out to you. He dropped the $10 cash out. Appreciate you big time, brother. Appreciate you big time. Now, uh. My main man Louis Kanye dropped $1 to give me a message. He said, "Someone blocked me in your chat." Okay, y'all. Louis ain't to be blocked. He's supposed to have a wrench. I asked him to say something so I could get a man his wrench. I'm gonna assume that this was a mistake. I'm going because I ain't never heard Louis do anything crazy with that. So I'm a think this is just a mistake. I'm a dig through and find you. We're gonna get that corrected, my brother. We're gonna get that corrected. So I'm pretty sure it was just a mistake. But I'm gonna grab the computer out and see if I can get this fixed before the end of the show. Okay, real talk. But we got Gold P that came up, and then we got my main man Jado that came up too. So I'm gonna let them have the flow. So Gold P, you got it, and y'all let's hold the comments and give it right to Jado right after Gold P. Go ahead, Gold.
Hey, what's happening? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we hear you fine.
All right. All right. Peace, peace, peace to the panel, the chat. Hey, I'm always glad to come and be a part of brothers speaking word into the universe and working to add order and correction to the situation we have to deal with. Uh, I and I'm gonna just put it in a personal position. What I'm going to say. I'm experienced in the way of I was military. I'm a Olympic competitor. I've lived life. I'm of age. I'm an aged brother. I'm over 55. But hey, I'm with you guys, here with you guys, learning something as well as giving you guys what little I know. I only know a little bit, and I question that. But um, from my military experience, uh, and at the time when I went in, it was all men in my battalion and unit. We have had conversations that uh, speak to what this topic is, what this conversation is. Men being alone and leaving this world alone, and we have to really acknowledge that men are in the reality, whereas women tend to be in the illusion. Um, the reality is the reality. When we're out there, my unit, they went to my unit, my battalion. We had to deal with Desert Storm and Gulf War and blah blah blah. Those are things that we had to deal with. And when you see your soldiers, your comrades come back, and they have challenges that are unbelievable. They their wives would send them videotape. Now we're in wartime. Their wives would send them videotape of them getting ran up in. The wives will be back in garrison. Garrison means back at post, messing around, wrecking the husband's car. So when we have this conversation about the differences between men and women and how we view what our life is in real time, in reality, the difference is back to one of the, I think it was Roger. He said, hey, men give their lives. And we do, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, as well as financially, in every aspect of the word, directly and or indirectly. We constantly give our lives, voluntarily, involuntarily, for the person we care about, whether it's on a grand scale or immediate scale, personal scale, when it comes to our significant other. And this is the reality of things. People spreading all this craziness out here about brothers. And I will say this one last thing before I hand it to my guy, Jay Doe. What's happening, Jay Doe? Look, I think the feminists, when they came out with these talking points, they had an agenda and they laid out their agenda. And the people receiving the message, primarily the so-called black woman, Negro woman, she received the blueprint wrong, or she thought she can undermine Wilma. We want to say Wilma, we got Whiskey Mike and Wilma. Wilma laid it out, and Keisha read it wrong, or decided to manipulate it in the way that she thought was beneficial to her. Wilma went home to her husband. That's the fact about it. And I will leave it at that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna jump in here real quick, y'all, because my man Irvin Reed, he playing dirty pool right now. He playing dirty pool. He hit me with the cash app, y'all. He hits me with the cash app, $10 cash app, which I appreciate. I thank you for the cash app, my brother. I thank you. But he gonna say for Gold P and Kobe. Okay.
You know what it is, Roger.
He say bees ain't ish, but hoes and tricks. Okay. Shout out to you, Urban Reed. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But before he say bees ain't ish, but hoes and tricks, he say for Gold P and Kobe. Hey man, that's dirty pool right there, bro. I don't know what I'm gonna do to respond to that, but I'm gonna respond. Okay, I'm gonna respond.
Ain't no response, Roger. Ain't no response. Just hit it. Just hit us with the Kobe, man. You know what it is.
He gonna put it in the cash app. That's dirty fool right there. That's dirty fool. But I appreciate the $10. Jado, you have the flow, my brother. You have the flow.
Hey, what up, Roger? Am I coming in clear?
Yes, sir. Hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Man, what's good? What's good? What's up, fellas? Hope y'all doing well. What's up, Gold P? Hey, what's up, everybody in the
Rito,
chat?
Rito.
Replay gang, what's happening? Hope y'all doing well. Yeah, Gold P, you was going in the direction I was going to kind of go into, man. I'm a veteran. I've done a lot of volunteer work at the Department of Veterans Affairs, at clinics and hospitals and stuff, man. So I see veterans from all different many different eras, many different eras. A lot of them are disabled. Some of them are somewhat, disabled, have all types of issues, man. And and just that dedication, man. I've seen like men know that. Well, first of all, we all are gonna die alone. And I don't know if someone said that already. I'm pretty sure maybe you guys have come. We all are going to die. No one's going to take that journey with us, man. We all are going to die alone. That's just a fact. But yeah, I've seen a lot of guys, man, that they weren't married, or maybe their wife has passed, or they didn't have immediate family. They were up there still in good spirits overall, man. And these were men. These were men. So men, like we know our, I guess, our position in this world, man. Like we make sacrifices. If we're blessed to have a wife or whatever, then so be it. If we're not, we're gonna still live our lives, man. We're gonna make our sacrifices and do what we need to do. But I would see those men there, wheelchair bound, many types of issues, rolling themselves to where they need to go and still in good spirits. And they would still talk to you as if they were still active duty. They were still active, man. I've seen it so many times. These were men. So, anyway, it's hard. It's difficult for me to listen to. When I hear a certain song from a black woman, man, it's hard for me to even listen to it. So I had to really push through that, Roger. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, Crimson Crew did cover it. She said it's not in good faith. It's not in good spirit. And I think she did a lot of projecting there. This is what I suspect. I suspect that she wasn't able to attract the man that she thought that she should attract. So a lot of women play these games. I think that woman Cheyenne Bryant did the same thing too on Paul Pierce's podcast or whatever. But a lot of them project, or I think a lot of times reverse project or whatever. And I suspect that she's actually speaking to women. I suspect she's trying to put that message out to women to make them, feel better about themselves. Yeah, they gonna die alone too. I don't suspect that it may be for both men and women, but I suspect it's more towards the women to further delude themselves, man. You know what
I'm
I'm
glad
saying?
you.
That's what I suspect. Oh, I'm gonna
I'm
finish
glad
up
you.
real quick, brother.
Okay,
Let
you
me
got
let
it,
me
bro.
finish
End my
up. I'm
show.
gonna finish it up. No. So and then I noticed a lot of black women. I think a lot of their motives to have children is so that they can have someone and actually kind of retard the growth of their children, or kind of put obstacles in the way for their children to grow, especially their boys, especially the boy. But I think they do it to the girls too. They retard the growth of their children so that they can have a so-called caretaker, in their later years, someone there. So, and I know many of you guys have seen women that they keep company around them that means them no good. And it's not that they are unaware that these people, mainly girlfriends, that they know are not worth nothing. They're not worth anything, and they still keep this company around them just because that's kind of how they're designed that way. So, and lastly, I'll end right here. I'm going to refer to a content creator, a great content creator, Roger. Uh, it's the Roger Report Live, man. We did a movie review on. It's called Nosedive. I think it speaks to this, and it was based off this. And you guys should look at that video on Roger's channel. But it's Nosedive. It's part of the Black Mirror series where this young lady was trying to get social credit. Well, the world is designed about getting social credits. You're getting graded by all your social interactions and everything that you post. You're getting graded, and depending on how high your score is, it depends on the certain benefits you can get from society. They say if you want to fly first class, or you want to get a good rental car, if your social score is high based off on these interactions, you get to do that. If you don't, then you won't get these amenities, these great amenities or whatever. And her hope, and the people that were happiest in that episode were the people that even though she ran into a female truck driver that had a low social score. She was supposed to be like an outcast of society, which I really mean in real life that character would have been a man. And the people and her brother he wasn't concerned about that social credit or whatever, but you could tell that he was free. And this woman was kind of a tortured soul by trying to keep company around her that didn't mean her no good. Even her so-called best friend didn't mean her any good whatsoever, but she still tried to keep that company around her. But her brother didn't give a her brother lived in the same apartment as she did, and he didn't give a damn about the that social credit. But you can see he was happy and free and living life or whatever. And I guess I'll end right there. Appreciate you having me, Ross.
Okay,
Um,
appreciate you, brother.
we brought up the fact of long term care, long term life and end of life, and how we deal with end of life and long term care. Of course, veterans are happy with their life at the end of the day. But I will go as far as to say, even though they joke at black men for y'all gonna end up in a nursing home, y'all can end up by yourselves. I've seen long term care before. And the men in long term care, nursing homes, tend to be extremely more, I'm not even say happy than the women that are in long term care from the odds. The women in long term care seem to be sicker, angrier, smoking way more cigarettes and they will wheelchairs. And the men enjoy watching games and old games and Andy Griffin, the Price is Right, and just enjoying the end of their life in them long-term care facilities. So I think even down to that, Roger, when it gets down to the precursors of end time life, men are happy. They're happier.
Well, I'll say
Well,
this.
I would say, oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
say this, Go P.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Just to because I wanted to get to this as well earlier. Um, and this is the piggyback off of what Roger was saying earlier when you and Pastor was having y'all exchange. Um, Men give so much in society that is not on the scoreboard. Um, I mean, the countless NBA players who have had the tutelage of black men as coaches, not just coaches, mentors. You see LeBron constantly referencing his high school coach, constantly saying, he taught me how to play the game the right way. Countless NFL players who have had the tutelage and the mentorship of coaches. That's not women doing that. That's men doing that. And then they're going on to have successful careers, barring any kind of serious injuries or whatnot. Um, Baseball, you name it. The list goes on. Even in the professional society, whether it's the trades, professional, corporate jobs, this and that, the fourth. Typically, that you're going to see the mentorship by the men. So much so that even when Me Too was at its highest, you had white women, older white women, who were coming out saying that we need to be careful with this Me Too stuff, because if we keep pushing this agenda, the men in the corporate arena are going to pull back from mentorship to women. So you even saw women be in fear of losing the mentorship of men, even in an environment where they were claiming men were so toxic. So that's why men at the end of their lives, if they're not married, that's why they can be content, is what, as far as what Pastor was talking about, because in the early parts of their lives, middle parts of their lives, they've given so much. So as far as they're concerned, their legacy is fulfilled. Legacy is not just by having like your own children, your own blood. It's about like who do you help along in the journey of life? And clearly, it's no question that men, way more than women ever could even dream of, help people, including other women, in the journey of life to help them to be the best version of themselves. So that's how men can be alone but not feel lonely. These women are not alone. They feel lonely because they've never done anything outside of themselves to have an effect. Um, that's why I say many women need to volunteer. Go to a soup kitchen, go to a domestic violence shelter, whatever the case may be. Go see what other people are going through, and then you'll start really. Because I did it for 2 years. I volunteered with AmeriCorps for 2 years with people with disabilities, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had, because number one, it showed me people who spinal cord injuries, brain, traumatic brain injuries, multiple sclerosis, HIV/AIDS, all of that, and they were still trying to make something of themselves, working jobs, um, all of these types of things. And so it gave me a very much needed perspective, because I was like, well, basically, if you got all of your faculties, like, you really ain't got no excuses out here to be sorry when I'm seeing these people in this particular position. And this is the problem that a lot of these females have. They don't know how to give a service without expecting to receive anything in return. That's what service is. Like, you fulfill some other person's needs, and it's not about you getting your needs fulfilled. And you don't have to be the richest person to do it. Like, it's not just wealthy people. When I did this, I was in college. I ain't had no money. You know what I'm saying? But I did this, you know what I'm saying, because I wanted to do it, and it was a great, it was a great experience. So a lot of these females don't understand that men actually contribute to societies in other ways, through their mentorship, especially, even when it comes to not even their own bloodline, that actually fosters development for overall society. Whereas they're constantly looking for a handout and online begging and complaining about God knows what, depending on the day.
Well, what I would say
Yeah.
is, what I would say
Well,
is, oh,
before we
Roger,
say,
you're gonna go ahead. Go ahead, Roger. Go ahead. Go ahead,
it's
Roger.
gonna be quick. It's gonna be quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say shout out. I have an idea who we doing this, but I ain't sure. But shout out to the real You Will Die Alone. He said you can't run from loneliness. And if y'all look at that avatar, I think this is one of the brothers who done went and took this lady picture and put,
Is that hot sauce, man?
I don't think it's hot sauce. I ain't gonna say. I'll tell y'all backstage who I think be doing this, but He said you can't run from loneliness as a joke, because y'all see, I think he done went and got that lady picture and put it as the avatar and said, the real, you will die alone. So y'all, he's joking. Cause and I'm gonna just throw a little bit of Black Rule in here, y'all. This is where the whole part about Black Rule has always said, oh, you know what? I was wrong. But this is where, Black Rule always say, a man's mission is first. Okay, we got to fulfill our missions first. So we die being fulfilled because we work on the mission first. The family is gonna be taken care of, but we got to be who we are first. That's why we gonna die fulfilled. But y'all, the real you will die alone. Say it's me, Lewis. Okay, you know what, Lewis? I didn't even think that was you. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say who I thought it was, but I thought it was one other person. I did think it was somebody else that was doing that. But shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. All right, go ahead, brother. Go.
Yeah. Yes, sir. What I was going to say was that we brothers, we tend to deal with quite, and I strive to stay in the brother arena, brothers, because this is the conversation we're dealing with when it comes to so-called Negro American, right? And we're talking about brothers here. We tend to say, we have to continue on building on what we perceive in Black Guru's position or saying, the mission. I've said numerous times over, we have to stay on your purpose, stay on our purpose, man. First of all, you have to figure out what your purpose is. And when a man finds his purpose, that's his ultimate goal, to stay on it, achieve the mission, and win. Whoever is along with him on his purpose is a beneficiary of his purpose. They benefit from him being on his purpose. Now, from a personal standpoint, um, my father was a veteran, and he was experiencing significant amount of health challenges, a significant amount of health challenges, and he passed away. While he was passing away, I had to carry him to the car, to the hospital, literally carry him on when he was leaving. Now that is not something people in general experience, carrying their own father to the car, to the hospital, because they're on their way out. He's leaving, literally. He's literally going into his next life. And here I am, his son, biological son, with this connection to him. And that is something, that sat with me. And I can only imagine what his thoughts are. What I mean, he is in the position, and I'm just guesstimating. In his mind, he's saying my son was able to. I don't know how many of you seen that picture where you see Jesus carrying a man on the sand. Well, that in my mind, I think that's his mind, his son, and I'm not proclaiming to be Jesus. I'm saying in his mind, and I'm once again guesstimating, in his mind, here his son is carrying him to a destination where he can continue on to the next life. I'm literally holding him. And I think that is something that women in general don't have any understanding of. No, they might hold his hand. If their significant other is passing away, they may hold his hand. He's passing away or what. But to be in that space in real time, literally, I don't think they really get what that means or have ever experienced it. Not saying anyone of them haven't, but that's not something that women aren't going to pick up their husband or their father or their and carry them like that. They're not going to do that. But here I was speaking personally, carrying my father. That is something that uh, I, in my humble opinion, appreciate. And it was a level of reciprocation there because I respected my father, and my father respected me. I mean, enough to where he let me carry him. I was his last connection in that moment to for him moving on to his next life. That is meaning. And that's, I think, what you're speaking of, Roger, is the meaning of alone versus being lonely. My father was leaving alone. He was leaving this world alone, uh, whereas I was with him. But like, shout out to Rael. Hey, and Jado, we're all going to leave by ourselves. It is the point of when you're going who you're with.
Mm-hmm.
And my father and I were together, man. And that is something that is uh, something that people, or especially these females that were out there, going buck wild with the conversations, frivolous conversations that they should gain some understanding of at some point, whether they do or not, whatever have you. This is what men speak on, literally. I'll leave it at that.
Well said, brother. Well said. And let's keep it real. The thing is, again, y'all, in her defense, I do think this is a misery love company argument. I think she's miserable. That's just me guessing. I don't know. I don't know nothing about this lady. I just seen, well, only thing I know about is what I saw in the clip. I think she's a lonely lady who possibly is past 30 years old and unmarried. I'm sure she's past 30 years. I'm very sure she's past 30 years old, but I do believe she's unmarried. Okay. And I know she said something about Christian. Y'all do know it when women talk that Christian stuff and they're unmarried, y'all know it bothers them a little bit too. Because if you're a good Christian woman and you 45 years old or 40 years old, maybe I don't know how old she is, but I believe she's in her 40s at least. Okay. Or maybe she's in her 50s and she just look a little better. If she ain't got no husband, she know that means something just with her talking. She know that means something. How are you a good Christian woman? You never got a husband. That don't even jive right. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. That don't even jive right. You were literally created to be a companion to a man. You definitely did not get your life mission accomplished. See, the thing about a man is he can get his life mission accomplished, and guess what his purpose never is? A woman. There's been no man that I know of, and I'm pretty sure the Lord himself is not going to correct me, but a man ain't never had a purpose where his purpose was a woman. His purpose is always bigger than that. It's never been a woman. Okay. So woman, no husband. The Bible tell you, because if once you say Bible, you restrict yourself to stuff that come from the Bible. Soon as she said Bible, well, now I know what your purpose is. Your purpose is a man. And I don't think she got no husband. And I think she upset about it. And I think this whole dying alone is hitting way too close to home for her comfort.
Well,
And she wants other people to be miserable.
even if she did have a husband, she would be completely out of order because it's not her job as a woman of the church to correct the men at all. That's not her function. I would love to see the black church specifically where the women are out here correcting the females' bad behavior because we see plenty of thoughts out here on social media doing everything against the scripture, and they're very quiet on that front. But when it
Would it,
comes to men, they have everything to say what the men should be doing, what the men ain't doing, this and that and the fourth. And it's like, first of all, that's not your place to even say that. It's not your place. It's the men's place.
well, the church got Me Too probably before Hollywood did, which gave them the entitlement to do exactly what you're speaking of, and that was a way of running male pastors out to replace them with female pastors. There has been an increase in female pastors and a decrease and men going into theology, which is a lot of female pastors are not going to feel fulfilled at the end of the day. Preaching, they preaching is weak as hell.
Yeah.
I had to tell them.
Well, I'm gonna say in this, I don't think Me Too had anything to do with that shift. I'm not gonna say that that shift didn't happen, but I can't blame Me Too. I don't think Me Too had anything to do with that shift.
Well, what they did, Roger, is they made to take the fulfillment of men in the priesthood away from men. They created this narrative that a lot of male pastors are perverts and
I mean,
yeah,
we
yeah.
know the Catholics. You know, they known for that. That's what the Catholics is known
Well,
for. Me Too.
even the black church,
You know,
even that was a tactic even the black church used.
no,
They
no,
took
no.
the Eddie
I'm
they
saying,
took the Eddie
wait a minute.
Longs. Yeah.
I'm not saying there wasn't no black churches or the guys who led the black church that was there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Mhm.
I wouldn't consider Me Too the reason for that shift. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it was the Me Too because that shift seemed to be happening before the Me Too thing even blew up. That
Exactly.
shift
Well,
was kind of
Roger,
early
It was a
taking place.
precursor. It was a
Yeah,
precursor.
so I'm just saying I'm not blaming Me Too for that shit. That's all I'm saying. I'm just not.
Okay.
well,
I don't.
Roger,
Okay.
Roger. You know, when Kobe engaged in his religion, you know, he was banging on people on the court. That was his religion. You know, I ain't seen a woman yet go beyond Kobe's religion.
Okay, I'm finna give it to Lewis because Lewis is here. So I'm gonna get a phone to Lewis. Okay, I'm gonna let that go for right now. I'm gonna let that go. But you know what? I'm not gonna go to sleep tonight. Think about no woman, and I ain't gonna be thinking about Kobe. Okay, that's gonna happen. But Lewis, you had the flow, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Roger? Peace to the chat, peace to the panel. All this is a scare tactic, as this economy and this environment is constantly changing for the worse. They're trying to get us to come back. And at the end of the day, a lot of us want loneliness because with all this bull crap going around and all the pressures we have as men, sometimes loneliness is our own treasure, being to ourselves. Peace of mind. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hey, I think that's real talking, and you know, it's not loneliness. We just rather be alone. And this is just something I don't think women can handle. What these type of women is making these complaints. I don't think they can handle the fact that men can go out there and be alone and be happy. Because if I go out there and I'm alone and I'm happy, we got to think about how the women sees it, y'all. You go to an Applebee's, a place that women talking about they don't want to be taken to, right? The man goes to the Applebee's, right? But he by himself and he's happy. He eats what he wants. He pays the bill. What just happened to him? His bill was cheap because the woman wasn't there. He's not. He ain't ran into no problem. He didn't have to hear a woman say, "Well, I don't want to go to Applebee's." He didn't have to deal with, "You need to take me somewhere that's more expensive." He didn't have to deal with, "I got a reputation to uphold." To who? To who? He ain't got to deal with none of that stuff. He just went to Applebee's because that's where he wanted to go. It's that simple at the end of the day. There's no argument. Okay. I've told y'all before, my favorite food is pancakes. If I go to the International House of Pancakes and I don't take no woman, the only difference is the bill is smaller. That's what the difference is. Still gonna be the same good food. I'm still gonna enjoy myself. I'm just gonna pay for one person instead of two. This is problematic in a woman's mind because if you can go out and have a good time without her, she don't understand what her importance is. And women are always trying to make themselves the most important thing to a man. That is just something they have in common. And you can't say all too much, but I think in this, well, maybe not all, but it would be a very small percentage of women who isn't doing that, who aren't trying to make themselves the most important thing to that man. That would be an extremely small percentage of women who are not doing that. So
No, Roger. No, Roger. You say all, and then the one that's rocking with you say, "Well, that's not this one." That's how it works, brother.
well,
That's how it works.
I'm just trying to give credit what credit is due. Is it's got to be some women out there who, and I'm gonna assume they're the ones who've been happily married for years, who ain't still trying to make sure that they're the most important things to their husband. They already accepted their husband actually loves them, and ain't trying to trade them in for a younger model. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a few women out there that have accepted that to be a reality at this particular point. Okay, so
Well,
I'm trying
Roger,
to give them a little credit.
no, Roger. Everybody failed to Kobe, except some people won a
Everybody
few
failed to
games
Kobe.
against Kobe.
Everybody failed to Kobe. I'm pretty sure
Some
Mike got.
people,
Okay,
come on. Some people lost a few games against Kobe, but Kobe was running them all, right, bro?
I don't know, man. I think with all I'm gonna say is I think with I ain't gonna go down that road, but I'm just saying I think with
Just
Mike
saying,
was.
Kobe,
Nah,
Roger,
I'm just
Kobe.
going. No, what I'm saying is I think when Mike was playing, he got 3 rings while Kobe was playing. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, I'm gonna
So you
leave it at
mad?
that.
So you
No,
mad, Roger?
no, I don't think Kobe
You
got a
seem
ring
like
when Mike was playing.
no,
Did
Roger.
Kobe
You
get a
seem
ring?
just with you responding like that. Apparently,
No, no,
I didn't touch some feelings,
no, no,
bro.
no, no. I'm just wondering if Kobe even got a ring while Mike was playing.
No, I see where you
Maybe
going
he
with this,
got
man.
one. Maybe
You being
because what?
passive. You being passive aggressive,
No,
brother.
no,
Why I
I'm
can't
just
say
saying.
Kobe? Why I can't say Kobe did it all, man?
I'm just saying. Mike did come back to Washington. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
no,
And
no, no, no,
maybe that
Roger.
last year in Washington, Kobe got a ring. Did he
No,
get one that
you know what
last?
I'm saying? You see what I'm talking about? This passive aggressive behavior, brother. What's with all the aggression,
It's all
Roger?
good. It's all good. We gonna let that go, brother. We gonna let that go. We gonna let that go. You know what I'm saying? But Kobe was a champion. Okay, it is what it is. Kobe was a champion. And the thing is, this is something, you know, men, we go out and we accomplish our goals. We accomplish our goals while being married. We accomplish our goals without being married. It does not actually make a difference at the end of the day. There's plenty of great men who've achieved levels of greatness and they have been married, and there's plenty of men who've achieved levels of greatness and they haven't been married. The man's mission is never the woman. We like the women, we appreciate the women, we love the women, but you're not our goal at the end of the day. You don't make us or break us. And the issue is the woman from this video was just mad at us because she can't make us or break us. That's just what it is at the end of the day. And a lot of women feel that same way. You know, you can see it in how they treat men. They're mad at you because they can't break you. That's not our problem to solve.
Roger, the thing is that, and this is what I've learned really truly in the last maybe 5 years. Um, like really hardcore, man. Women in general don't understand men. And it's not that they just don't understand men. They don't care to understand men. They have a fundamental, they literally approach men like they approach other females. And that's why you find yourself constantly having to correct females because their approach to you is how they approach each other. And they don't understand like things that they do in their world. If men did it in the world of men, it could get you hurt or killed. Like it's serious consequences for crossing boundaries in the world of men. That's why you see maps with lines on them because it's like, okay, this is your territory and this is our territory. Don't cross that line. Now it's the same earth, but we like this is our territory over here. And if you cross it, there's gonna be some consequences for you. Females world, they cross the line all the time. They in each other's business all the time. They trying to fuck on each other's guys and shit. Like they do a whole bunch of different type of things that does not get addressed by other females in their world. Typically, the average female does something to another female. The average female ain't gonna kick her ass. Both of them are gonna be scary anyway, most of the time. So they don't get the things that they do addressed. So when they don't get it addressed, and this is why I tell females all the time, y'all will sit there and see your girlfriend smashing on another chick's dude. Like you have no problem with it. You'll see her do it. You'll laugh about it. It's all great. And then y'all will come out here and say you don't like cheating. You don't men shouldn't cheat. You'll sit there and watch a girl do all this fugazi type stuff. And then when she does it to you, then now you all broken hearted. Now you all bent out of shape. And it's like, but you've been sitting here providing cover for this type of female, wherein in previous times, that female will get exposed. That female, people would say, hey, no, like no, that she's the type of chick that does this. And then once you got labeled that, you were in that category forever. The problem is that females co-sign the bad behavior of females, even when they're doing it towards guys, but you're not the female that has to deal with that particular guy. One guy might walk away from you. Another guy might bust your head wide open. You don't know, because every guy ain't the same. And that's the problem. They think every dude is going to be the same. That dude lets you get away with that. This dude over here, he gonna OJ your ass. So you might want to like understand men from a basic level. Men from a basic level in general, if you violate them in terms of disrespect, and this is something I've had to tell a lot of females, if you violate men in terms of respect, that is enough of a reason for men to want to take your life. Like men will die or unalive somebody else out of disrespect. It is that serious for men. Whereas for
But
females,
Rael,
they don't look at respect first. They don't care. They're looking more for acceptance first. They're not looking for respect first. So they'll do all
but
types of things out here that doesn't garner respect, and then they be looking at men when men don't respect them and see them as a wife and be like, well, why don't y'all want us? Like we're out here having sex, and it's like, well, men don't marry you based on sex.
but
Right.
Rael,
Hey,
Hold
Rael.
on,
but
go P.
Rael, you
Hold on,
oh
go
okay,
P.
go ahead.
Because this your
Yes,
fault.
sir.
This is your fault. So before you say that, see, and then there go Urban Reed down in the chat talking about all the money is good over here. Roger, yeah, LMAO. Yeah, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. See, this your fault. Go
Go
P. This
ahead.
your
Go ahead.
Urban Reed sent the $5 cash app. He says if
Go ahead.
Jesus can't save them, why are you? Tax. Kobe. Okay. Now I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I do. I do. Then he come
Shout out
back
to Urban
again.
Reed.
He come back again. He say in a $3 cash app, he says 3. Kobe's on 5. Okay. All right.
This is my fault, Roger.
Now he come back with a $2 cash app and tell me this ain't your fault. He said Kobe ran folks off the court. Mamba out with the $2 cash app. You tell me this ain't your fault? Thank you, Urban Reed. You put a lot of dirty clothes today. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that money could have came without them coming.
Hey man, why Roger? What's with all the aggression, Roger? Why you serving all this aggression towards us, man?
I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a lot of aggression, Roger. You
Yeah,
know, we just expressing a point about Kobe, Roger.
Kobe was a fine NBA player, man.
Okay,
The
okay.
best
Let me
thing
get to
about
my point. I'm gonna
Kobe,
disregard what you talking about, Roger. Let me get to my point.
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
But I was going to ask
Best thing about
Rael.
Kobe is compared to Mike. But go ahead.
Yeah. See, you just have to throw that in, right?
Just go ahead.
You
Just
know,
go ahead, man.
you're not gonna just let me speak to Rael, are you?
I don't want to distract from the show. Could you go ahead?
You distracting the show, Roger. I was going to ask Rael before the disrespect ensued by the Roger Report, greatest show on earth. Yeah. Well, Rael, you are an educated man, and I'm sure you've been around where you've seen educated women around you, females, whichever have you, They've been around you and blah, blah, blah. And they've said themselves that they are the most educated. They are educated beyond belief. That's what they've said. So why would you even tell them anything? Why tell them anything? Why would you say they lack understanding when they tell you all the time that they're the most educated? They know it all. They got all the answers.
I've had conversations. I'm talking about the conversations that I've had specifically, and
Yes,
one of
sir.
the thing one of the things that I like to do is I like to, when women say they're educated, that doesn't indicate intelligence. That's two different things. Most education is indoctrination. It's not actually designed to make you an intelligent thinking person. So, and one of the things that really unsettles a lot of females, especially in our group, is actually when they meet an intelligent man, because they realize at that point that when they meet an intelligent man, they realize how unintelligent they really are. And it's a very unsettling feeling. And that's why a lot of them will avoid intelligent black men. They'll come up with every excuse in the book. They'll say, "Oh, he's not cool enough. Like, I don't like these nerdy guys." They'll go right there and get a white dude that's considered nerdy and have no problem. But it's that black man that brings us that certain cachet, that certain intelligence that really unnerves them, and that's something that is just very obviously problematic, because if females are only wanting to get, I don't have a problem with females wanting to get with dumb dudes and they're stupid and silly. I don't have me personally, I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with them is not accepting like what comes with that as a woman, because if you allow a stupid guy to lead you, why do you expect a great result? And that's really where the issue really comes forth on a lot of this stuff, because they'll say, "Hey, who we decide to be with is not anybody's business." And then at the same time, when the repercussions come from that, then they want you to be all in their business. And so for me, it's more so of like letting them know like how unintelligent they really are, because a lot of them really do approach especially black men from the standpoint that they're more intelligent than you. They actually really believe that they're, because they get an education, even though you could be in college too, they still think this is the case. I remember years ago when I dealt with this chick that was a lawyer. She prime example of that. She was a lawyer. She thought she was more intelligent just because she had a law degree. I used to mop the floor with her. And the funny thing about it was, in terms of like debates that we would have, and the funny thing about it was is that it irked her. I mean, she couldn't stand it. She couldn't stand the fact that even with her law degree, she was not capable of actually truly having a legitimate debate, because she believed just the piece of paper within itself
So you like
justified
applying
her
correction.
mentality towards me. Huh?
So you like applying correction. That's essentially what you say.
No,
You're
yeah,
saying.
that's what I was doing in those instances. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I ain't mad at applying correction. I just have the position of um, a man on his purpose is more mindful of his time, because we can't get time back. I'm in the mindset of I'm not going to waste my time in a frivolous conversation with you when you have nothing physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, as well as financially compared to me and how a man moves in this world. I'm not going to waste my time because my time is more valuable than that frivolous stuff you were speaking about. That's my position.
Well, I mean, that's an understandable position, but you do got to understand that, if you can drop a seed in a person's head, there's something to grow there. And if you never drop a seed, nothing's ever going to grow. So, but I can understand
So
where you're coming from.
the woman that was in the video, you dropping seeds to her?
If I was in a conversation, if I met her, I would have a conversation with her, because at the
No,
end
no,
of
no,
the
no.
day,
Are you dropping seeds to her?
well,
She's
we don't.
already
Hold on.
over 35, right?
this is the thing. We don't know if she's
Go ahead.
actually listening. If she listens to this, absolutely, she's getting some seeds dropped into her. She probably ain't gonna like them, but she's
So what's
absolutely
the
getting
active
it if she
word,
listens.
Roger? What's the active word? If. And she's already
You asked me
displayed
about her
where she's at.
specifically though. You asked me about her specifically.
Yes, sir.
You see
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? If
Yes,
I
sir.
had a conversation with her specifically, I would tell her better. Because why don't I mind telling women better? Because I know they have influence on other girls and other women. That's why I don't mind dropping seeds in
Well,
their head.
well, I don't think maybe the word seed is being misused because when you drop seeds in someone, they are learning something. Now, if you drop the seed into your child or your young ones and stuff like that, that is a seed with the idea that it will grow because they're more in tune to listening to you versus having the innate position of I am set in what I'm saying. I'm solid. I don't care what you're saying. This is what it is. Okay. Whereas a child would listen to you because they're still growing. But a person who is of age, like you, Roger, when I go to say, hey, Kobe was the greatest thing since sliced bread, you go to insert in some other kind of conversation. So you're not listening to me, brother. I'm going to leave it down.
I listen to you very well, brother. I listen to you extremely well. But since you went there,
I'm going to stop messing with you. I'm going to stop messing with you, Roger.
since you went there, there was one more cash app that was sent in. Shout out to my main man, Afro Merchant. He said, MJ, go fire. Simple as that. Best cash app all day. Since you had to say that right then and
Yeah,
there, best cash app all day.
see.
So we're going to
That's what
leave
we
it at that.
doing.
We're going to leave that. Hey, that's
We'll
Afro
leave that
Merchant.
there.
I ain't even say I was going to leave it alone for a while. But since you went
Okay.
there, I got to go and get
Yes,
that out
sir.
the way.
Yes, sir.
Now,
I'm going to say yes, sir, because I'm not you, Roger. I'm not you, Roger. I will let it be, brother. I'm not going to say any passive aggressive type messages or anything. I'm going to let it be. All I'm going to say is yes, sir. Yes, sir, Roger. Go ahead.
Now, what I'm gonna say when it comes to this particular lady, no, if I have a conversation with her, I'm gonna make sure she's listening. Well, something I do with women is I actually make sure they listen. Because if a woman is not gonna hear me, I just tell them straight up: a conversation has to be two ways. And if you're not gonna have a two-way conversation, I'm not gonna talk to you. I picked that up from childhood, and that's part of me being a kid where I'm around a bunch of family members, but I'm small, so I don't get to talk. You know what I'm saying? I may not have understood it then. I understand it way more now. But when you in a you in a room full of family and all this type of stuff, you don't really get to talk until you hit certain ages or whatever. Ain't nobody listening. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? You 8. Nobody cares, man. Nobody cares.
Well,
You're
the
20
thing,
or
the thing,
30.
the thing is, when the thing is, in this day and age, unfortunately, because there's so much bad teaching in general, especially when you start talking about our group. I mean, if you actually meet a female, like there's going to be a form of correction. I mean, it just it's just gonna come with the territory. Like if you open to the B dub, you are going to. That's what it's going to be. So there's no way that you can actually avoid that. And also too, as this misandrous mentality has spread throughout the world, you're going to come across that in certain places. Um, but I always say that it's not the mistake that somebody makes, it's the way that they atone or try to atone for the mistakes that really shows me the character of a person. Everybody's going to make mistakes. I get that. I get the fact that everybody is not at the level that they need to be. We don't raise ourselves. We're cultivated by those who are whose charge we're in. However, when you get to the adult level of life, the responsibility on you to be a better person is your responsibility. And so part of that responsibility is being able to take correction, even as an adult. Like men and women are open to correction because we don't know everything. So even for guys, the idea that you're not going to take correction is false because, quite frankly, there are many guys who have been raised within this type of environment where correction is not actually put forth. So we will be derelict in our duty to not put forth some form of correction because as men, we are the authority figures. Now, with that being said, once the correction comes forth and the response is the same mentality, then you know what you're dealing with. If a person is more of receptive to listening to the message, um, you can give them more. But correction is a part of life. Even
I'm with
myself
you
at
on
40,
that.
even myself at 46,
I'm with
I
you at that.
learn new things every day, and I unlearn things that I thought was right
I'm,
every day too. So
I'm
Hey,
with
I
you on
mean,
that,
I
Roger.
think
Hey, bro.
I kind of
Oh,
lean
okay. Go
toward.
ahead.
Well, everybody, both points are great. I'm very economical or thrifty or very. I don't know, man. We have to be able, and maybe that comes with age and wisdom or whatever. We have to be able to discern
yes,
whether someone's going to receive this message or not.
I
And
agree with
just
that.
me, I suspect, I mean, the first couple of words that came out of this woman's mouth, I wouldn't waste a word on her.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Which
no,
speaks to
And,
my
and,
point.
and
Time.
you know what I
Time.
mean? Like
yeah, I agree with that.
time, yes, I'm very economical. I'm very careful with how much time I put into or who I choose to, correct or win. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be able to discern, like, is this person? I mean, sometimes it'll be a split-second decision, man. And I trust my instinct and my gut, and to guide me to where, okay, I need to correct this person, spend a little time and talk to this person, and then this person is not to be talked to, man. They're not going to be corrected. You're going to be
Right.
wasting your
That's
time.
my point, Jay. Though that you made my point, brother. Uh, I wanted to ask Roger. Hey, Roger, we heard your phone ring or some chime or whatever have you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Was that chef calling you to tell you to stop socking on me, brother? But I think that was
Guarantee.
chef. You know,
Guarantee it wasn't Shell. I guarantee it
that
wasn't
was chef. Oh, I was chef.
Matter of fact,
I,
I think Shell sent me a message earlier and said, why don't you just go and stop talking to gold peaches altogether, just in general. Just
see, see,
he might have said something like
see,
that. I ain't gonna put no words in his
oh,
mouth.
okay. Is that what? Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
ain't gonna
chef.
put no
I
words in
think
his mouth.
chef was, going to apply correction.
No, it wasn't that. But I did get a very important phone call that just shift my whole entire day. But we are at the 3 hour mark, so I'm finna go ahead and wrap this up. Now, I am gonna say, yeah, there's no point in talking to a woman that ain't gonna listen to you. But since I had the childhood I had to it, and I understood that there was times they just wasn't gonna listen to me when I was a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I won't engage in a conversation with somebody where they're
Mm.
not gonna listen to me. I'm gonna make you listen, or we just not talking. Now I can't control what the other person gonna do, but I ain't finna sit there and just talk for my own health and just talk, and ain't nobody gonna hear me. I'm gonna make you actually listen to what I'm saying. I'm gonna know you listen because I'm gonna ask you stuff that I did say and see if you can even repeat it. I'm not gonna play with people like that. So yeah, if we can't have an actual conversation, we don't get to talk. And people do get upset about that because they just want to say something to you and they don't want you to ever say anything to them. I just don't play that game because I don't have to. I'm grown.
And
Just
I
is
and
what
I
it
and
is.
I and I also say this too as well. Like this is not about going around trying to save anybody because I ain't trying to save shit. I came in this space literally saying instead of reformation, there needs to be a separation. So that's been my position from the get go since I've been here. Since I got off the fake pro black stuff back in the day that was being espoused. Um, also, one of the things that's very helpful for black men specifically, because we become a localized group of men where we only think of things that pertain to us from a local perspective, you need to have much more of a global perspective. And in order to have a global perspective, you need to be able to talk to people and have experiences from a global perspective so you can have a much more well-rounded worldview and understand how other people think, what motivates other people. Um, and I will be the first one to tell a lot of cats, man, that there are people who have a negative view of us based on what's driven in the media. And so when you're having those experiences with other groups of people, it's not about trying to save other people. It's about really trying to get forth the message that when y'all think of Black American men specifically, stop jumping to the conclusion that we're what you see on TV or what's being portrayed on TV, because the truth of the matter is most people in the world are ignorant, and they're going to go off of what they see of you based on your image and what you're identified as. So you are going to have to correct certain people
I
in the
agree with you
world,
on that, Ra.
in terms of our name, our reputation, our character, because a lot of times what happens to us, there's a lot of character assassination that takes place amongst, or takes place towards Black men. And it's not so much about trying to save other people, it's about setting the record straight about who we are and what we represent as men
And
collectively.
I agree
and
with
that's
you on that,
real
Ra.
talk. But we gonna
Hey,
have
I'm
to
getting
end it
ready
there.
to.
We gonna have to end it there because unfortunately I just got some bad news, and like I said, my whole day is gonna have to shift at this particular point. So I gotta go and get this out though. But shout out to Urban Reed one more again. Okay, he did send in one more cash out. He said Afro line. Now we talking about Afro merch. He said Afro line, and Roger denying Kobe on a public forum. Hey, I am not denying Kobe. Kobe is great. I know Kobe's great because people compliment Kobe by saying he's the closest thing to Mike. Hey, it is what it is, man. That's why Kobe great. He
Hey,
reminds you
Roger.
of a Mike. He reminds
Roger,
you of a Mike.
I thought you had to go, Roger.
I
I
do.
thought you had.
I
I
had to
thought
read that
you
cash up, bro.
you got a call
I had to
and
read the
changed
cash
your
up, bro.
whole direction. But here you are doing a monologue about Kobe being next, brother. You
Yeah,
know, and I'm gonna just leave. I'm getting ready to leave, Roger. I'm getting ready to leave.
you ain't gotta
Let
go
me
nowhere.
let me just say this, Roger.
You
No,
ain't gotta go
Roger. Let
nowhere.
me just say this, Roger. Let me just say this, Roger. Kobe.
All right, y'all. I gotta go. It's been a great week. I hope y'all have enjoyed the content. I'm sure a lot of you have. If you're new here, man, do some thinking. Uh, leave this stuff alone about men dying alone. We not the same. It ain't the same for us. Dying alone is about the context of how you lived your life and how you died. For men, we always gonna be good because we gonna fulfill ourselves based on our mission, not based on some woman. For women, yes, y'all do get gain fulfillment based on the man that you take direction from. It's never going to be the same at the end of the day. It's never going to be the same. And before I close it out, it looks like Floyd Thompson is in the chat. He just said Cash App, so now I got to see what Floyd said. I don't know whether he gonna take a jab or not, but let's see. He says this is kind of funny, right? He say Mike won't die by himself. Well, Mike is married, that's for sure. Shout out to Juanita. I'm just gonna say that. Shout out to Juanita. Hoping she don't die alone. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Enjoy the weekend. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.